Loki, episode 2, with the marvelous chaps. Where are they? They're coming. They're coming. Yo, 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 boys, what's up?
How's it going?
Good evening. How are we?
Good, how are you, man?
I'm good, I'm good.
Fantastic.
My light is very bright. It's blinding me.
That's just your personality, sir, right?
Oh, yes, that's very true. How's everybody? How's everyone's week?
Good. Don't act like I haven't noticed that you got a green Loki light behind you now. Okay, we see what you're doing. We see the subliminals.
Can you see? Oh, hang on. Sorry, I had something even cooler.
We're back.
It's my camera's actually back to front. It's not gonna work. But my girlfriend had an idea. She was like, "Oh, why don't you like put on like a Loki image?
Yeah.
Like a freeze frame from the episode or something." So she was going through it as we were getting ready to start, and she picked up the logo, but it's back to front for some reason.
She's the real producer on the Finto channel.
Yes, indeed,
Hey,
sir.
computer.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, yeah.
Turn all lights green.
Let's go, Max.
Okay, weird flex, Max. Weird flex, okay?
Ooh.
Unfortunately, my flame is loading, so I have to use a smaller one.
Max Flex.
Max
Hey,
flex.
Lamb, turn it off.
Max flex.
Got it.
Guys, give me just 1 second. Apologies. 1 second, guys.
Oh, it's kind of comfortable in here in this dark.
I thought I'd switch it up and do no fire and do like cosmic skylines.
You got the fire of the universe there.
So I'm probably gonna have the green flashy problem because the OBS virtual camera isn't working right now, and I don't know how to make the green flashy not green flashy.
Yeah, everyone's got an energy drink. I'm just like a boomer.
Yo.
Here, my coffee.
The
I'm
ironic
back,
part is
I'm
I'm
back,
wearing
I'm
an
back.
unsuck myself shirt.
That
I
is
can't
easy.
unsuck myself.
I'm actually drinking a ginger beer called Finto and Hollows. I don't know if it's available in the United States, but whew, this
I've
stuff,
never heard of it.
it's like a ginger beer. It was created in 1905, all natural alcoholic ginger beer. It's only 4%, but if you can get one of these in like a pint glass with some ice and like some bitters and a lime, holy smokes! If you're at like a barbecue or something, oh my god, oh bro. It's
Like,
sounds
I'm alright
amazing.
with 4% if it's like during the daytime, you know?
It's just casual, not too crazy, just something nice. I usually, sometimes if I'm going to like a barbecue or something, we might like crack one or two of these, and then you move on to like the harder stuff after,
Yeah.
It's delicious.
With all the kids to go to bed.
Exactly.
I had another idea. Hold on.
Let's go, Max. Yo,
We got
we got
this week.
we got Max Luther.
Look at that ass.
Next.
We got him.
Got him.
Oh shit!
That's America's ass. That's America's ass.
Got them Captain America.
Max is about to get me thrown off Twitch. Oh my god.
Yeah, right. Max is about to get you 100 gifted subs. Get out of here with
Oh
that.
my god.
No free shows. No free shows.
He said no free shows.
Oh my god.
I don't know what the price is, but
That
I'm
is
willing to pay.
fantastic, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll pull together some money.
That's just like, tomorrow he's going to drop an OnlyFans link, and it's all connected. It's all connected.
Oh, yeah. Woo!
Hey,
And
Finto, did you ever fix the green flashy thing on your end?
we're going to find out. We're going to find out.
Right.
I actually haven't used my Brio since last week, which is ridiculous, I know, but I only bought it for the podcast, so I don't really
Right.
have any plans
got
to
it.
use it for anything else.
Alright.
Nice, dude. Let's
Grow
go.
up, dude. Knocking stuff over.
Hang on a second. I gotta figure. I think I can get my light green. I just thought about it. I want to be cool like you guys.
Yeah, we had to go green lights.
Yeah, we went green.
Finto forced the hand.
You can
I wish
actually
it was darker in this fucking room.
You can actually
It would look a lot better.
you can blame my lady for that. She's the one who upped the bar a bit. She upped it.
You can do green flames. You just have to burn stuff that you're not supposed to.
True. What's up, everybody?
Fantastic week.
Drunky, did you finish Days Gone?
No, this is gonna be a hike for me, man. Cause like I'm only doing like the 5-hour streams in the morning right now.
Gotcha.
And so I'm like 15 hours into it, and I think this thing is like a 30, 40-hour game. So it's like it's
Wow.
open world, like it's
Yeah,
deep, bro.
but that's nice.
Have
though.
you been doing side
Yeah.
quests?
Yeah, and like I thought they, you know, how when you go to an open world game, they show you the map, and you're like, all right, I know exactly how much I'm dealing with. They had that, and now they took me to a new area, and they
you-
expanded the map. So now I'm like, oh,
You're starting all over again.
yeah, dude, I just got this whole other area, man. It's crazy.
Days
So-
Gone is a big ass game.
Yeah, I do. I actually, because I played it when it first came out. I bought it on PS4, and I literally like played it probably through to nearly where I've seen you play. And I didn't really go much further because when I was buying games like that in Red Dead 2, I was just way too addicted to Fortnite, and like I just couldn't stay off, and Fortnite was just taking up all my fucking time. So
Yeah.
like there's a lot of games like that I want to go back and complete. Like the Uncharted 5 is one of them. Like I wasn't really into the game as much as other games, but at the same time, you know, I feel now that, you know, my life isn't consumed by Fortnite. I think I can go back and actually kind of finish these games.
I'm not
You're
gonna
not
lie,
into
dude.
aliens?
We are full blown variety on this stream right
I'm-
now.
I'm dipping my toes back into a new MMO. I might get consumed.
Nice.
I might join you.
Prepare some life rings. I call for them. Might need to be pulled back from the abyss. Final
You need a
Fantasy
wellness pack.
14.
I
Yeah,
saw-
Final Fantasy 14 has a free trial right now, and everything that I've seen is like the game came out in 2010, right? And this expansion's coming out this autumn. That's going to conclude the entire story from when the game came out until now, and then after that, they're going to have. Yeah, I'm gonna turn off that fan. That's bad.
Can
My
I
God,
can I confess something?
please.
I have never played a Final Fantasy game ever.
Me either.
Oh, wow.
The only one I did play was 15 because I don't really do. Here, let me bring my mic closer. Because I don't really do turn-based combat. I don't really like it.
Mhm.
I was more of in like a hack and slash, like a Devil May Cry, like God of War type of games.
Yeah.
Wow.
But when Final Fantasy 15 came out and it was like freeform combat, I was like, this is what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. Like this
Yeah.
is good.
Mhm.
Did you ever
I-
kill Adamantoise in that game? The big
No.
turtle, dude.
No.
That is literally, I can trace back mental issues to that boss. Like, I was 3 hours into it, I'm like, how long does this take? Because, like, you're not even a third of the way done, and then it's like, oh, this could take up to, like, 10 hours real time. And then it's like, well, if I stop now, I gotta redo this 3 hours again, so I might as well just keep going. 3 hours again, so I might as well just keep going. And then, I'm echoing on your end, Drunky.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's just like it's crazy. You got to spend like 8 hours real time.
Are you doing hard liquor?
That's all I got. So I'm just gonna do one good shot with you guys since I got work later.
I'm just throwing the fire back on because this Loki
God.
thing keeps going into a screensaver and it's like a
Is that
light in the back of
Jameson
my room.
Black?
Hell
Is that
yeah.
Jameson Black, Max?
What happened?
I said, is that Jameson Black? I know that's your favorite.
No, it's just regular Jameson. I gotta get me a bottle of that Black Barrel.
Oh, your birthday's next month. How convenient. Jameson Black and your birthday's next month.
Yeah.
In case anyone's
He's just
wondering.
gonna. He's just at a PO box just gets posted on Twitter. Wink, wink.
If you're about to do a shot, I'll go grab a bottle. I'll be right back.
I'm just sipping beers here.
I wish I
signed
had
up.
a beer because I would have been sipping a beer with you guys, but I don't got one.
Rebels.
I signed up today to the closed beta for Blood Hunt. Have you heard of this game? It's like a vampire BR game that's coming out.
Nice.
No. I really want to try that one that Jimny's been saying, but what's Blood Hunt? Is it already out?
It's not out.
Or you
It's-
just signed up?
I just signed up today. It's not even out yet. They're gonna email me when the beta starts, and like they're encouraging people to stream it and stuff, and they're asking on Twitter. People put in their Twitch links and shit like that. Like so, yeah, it looks
Has anyone-
it looks interesting. There's a trailer for it. I can put it up if you just want to watch it. But basically, I think it was Ghosty that put me onto it. It's it kind of looks like Underworld, but like you pick like a vampire class and you've got a power and weapons and stuff like that, and you basically just like you're going around like a kind of gothic looking city, and it's just a BR. You're able to scale buildings and shit. Like it kind of looks like Hyperscape, but you're a fucking vampire. Like, it looks wild, bro. Have you heard of this game, Drunky? Blood Hunt?
Yes.
I signed.
Do you know?
I signed up to the closed beta.
Agarasi
Yes.
from the community.
Yeah.
He works for that company.
Oh wow.
That's the game he
making
was
it.
talking about, huh?
Okay, so
I remember now.
Yeah.
I knew I'd heard about it somewhere, and I'd seen a trailer, and now it all makes sense.
Yeah,
Finto?
If you go onto their Twitter, I think I retweeted it today. You can go on and sign up for their closed beta, which is not out yet, but I think that could be a good one to stream as well. You know, bit of closed beta action.
It looks really, really fun, man. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, it looks interesting. Like, I think you can run around with katanas and shit and chop people up like with superpowers.
Yeah. Real quick, am I still echoing for you guys? Like, if I...
Yeah,
I don't know why.
There's something in the background.
It's. I got a loop going on right here. I got a feedback loop.
Hey, Finto, while we're all doing technical issues, your green flash is still there. I think you're going to have to do what I'm doing with the Brio and make a new scene in your OBS, just a camera scene only, camera only, full screen it.
Yeah.
And then what Drunky was telling us last week, start the virtual camera and set that as your source and in Discord, because that's the only thing that I've got to stop it for these.
Yeah.
And I noticed it did to mine, and yours is doing it still, so...
Yeah, I think why it happens,
I
I
have my
think...
source just to my video device, my USB video device, and it just has my camera. Like,
Are you on a Brio as well, Max?
no, I have the Razer. I have a Razer Neo.
Is it? See, I think I was trying to think about it, like doing my whole kind of technical support shit that I usually do. And in my head, I'm thinking like, okay, why is this happening only in Discord, but not happening in the actual software itself and stuff? So I'm thinking maybe Discord's video doesn't support 60 FPS, so I dropped the camera down to 50, I think, and I think you can drop it down again a little bit, so I might drop it down to 40 or something and see if it stops. Otherwise, I'll try the whole OBS thing. It's just I don't know what the OBS thing will work like because I already have a separate camera linked up to OBS.
Maybe it's the 90 FOV that's having trouble supporting.
It's something that's advanced, obviously, that Discord don't have support for yet. Is my guess, because I was thinking maybe there's something wrong with the camera. I had the actual Brio software running for like an hour testing it, and I was kind of just flicking around doing some stuff on the computer, and I was just watching it, and it didn't flash for me at all.
Yeah, it's only Discord. I've looked through the settings right before we started today to see if like it's any advanced settings, and there's a couple settings I don't really understand. It could be tied with it, but I don't know.
I mean, you might be right about the frames per second, because I have a Logitech Stream Cam and it maxes out at 60 frames at 1080, and I notice it like it doesn't do the green flickering, but it like screws up the video feed.
Yeah, maybe it's the 4K. Maybe Discord can't support 4K for cameras or something in their video chat. I think the camera's just too good, and there's something going on where in Discord it's not working.
Weird flex.
To be honest,
weird flex.
No, it's
I mean, the Brio's nice.
Yeah, it's
like
a
I
nice
have a Brio.
camera.
I'm using it right now.
That was my other option before I looked at the Razer one, but I'm trying to.
Bro, I'm trying
to get partnered, so I'm just sucking all the Razer dick right now.
Have you? I don't know. Like I don't know if this is just like an OCD thing for me, but see the way like when we talk, there's like a green box around our camamera. I just think that is looking so sexy right now with the green lights. It's like it looks amazing.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
surprise, motherfuckers!
Oh shit!
Oh my Jesus!
He's
Drunky
in.
asking you shall receive. I heard you asking for this.
I knew
what
it.
happened.
Cheers to the chaps.
I knew this was coming, and I kept it a secret on purpose.
Cheers.
I'm glad to be back with you guys. I'm hoping this isn't just a one-off thing. I just
got
lucky.
Man.
I got lucky because when you go live, Finto, you go live within like the first hour that I have. Well, I mean, within the hour that I have to get ready, and then leave to work.
Oh, I understand.
It's really inconvenient that way.
So
I
like
it on purpose.
It would literally just be like, "Hey guys, what's up? I think this part's pretty cool. All right, see you later, bye." And I just have to like.
Yeah, dude. No, I wish I could get on earlier. I just can't. Like literally, you know, it's still bright out, and you know the little lad's only gone to bed now. Like, and I got to spend some time with the fam before I go live for the whole night. You know.
Oh man.
Anders, what's up, brother? Did you win? Did you win? Tell me you won.
We won.
Let's go. Well done. GG.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
1-0 Sweden.
Let's go.
I think you're good too, Drunky. I don't hear any looping anymore.
No,
Yeah,
can you hear
same
my
here.
voice though? You can hear me?
Yeah.
I can hear you. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
go.
I think we're all good.
Oh, yeah.
We're good.
All right.
Perfect timing. Anders gets in and we're ready to go.
Now you don't get the top spot though. He's got like a C before his name. Now he takes over the top left.
Wow.
But you do take the middle.
Do they do it in alphabetical order?
I think so. That's what I'm figuring out, right?
Yeah, it looks like it.
It's on Z.
It looks like it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
C, D, F, K,
Back of the line.
M,
Yeah.
V.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
got the
no,
whole alphabet here.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
The D's always in the middle.
Cameras are
D's in the middle. The D's in the middle.
six cameras is looking pretty good right now. It's looking great. We got a full house. Yeah, so obviously, talking about gaming, which is what we all do. We're on a gaming platform. So I can't say that with a straight face these days with everything that's going on Twitch, but yeah, so let's kick in, boys. I don't know, do we want to do a little round table first, kind of get people's rating of the episode, and we'll kind of deep dive into it then from there?
I just want to start it with I told you so.
About
same.
all the
I called
bombs.
it.
The
I called
bombs.
it. No, I called it with female Loki.
Okay.
Or-
so
Everyone called that.
I'd love to go first.
I'm sorry, you may not have called it because it actually may not be Lady Loki.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, we're not done yet.
Oh,
Yeah,
There's people saying it might be Enchantress.
it's looking more likely because in the credits, she's listed as like Sylvia, which is her name.
Sylvie.
Yeah, or Sylvie, yeah. And there's a picture of her as well, which is taken directly from the comics where one of the horns is removed. It's lost in battle as well. So
I was gonna ask you guys if you noticed that one of
Yeah.
her horns was broken.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah.
I noticed that.
and that's classic Enchantress tells. Now again, the MCU could be doing it differently. They could be trying to tell the story different. They could be throwing the horn in to try and throw us off like they do with everything, fucking Mephisto everywhere and all this stuff, So I suppose time,
combining, right?
Yeah, I think they
Yeah.
I think they try and like combine a bit of comic book with the narrative that kind of helps them the most. But yeah, it's great. It's great.
Yeah.
I mean, my speculation is that it's actually the soul of Loki after the whole Thanos thing, and then it just went into Sylvie.
Okay.
This is a very powerful being, able to enchant people, and
But
why
why?
not?
But why would she be evil then?
I've got. I know the. I know the.
I mean,
answer
she
to that.
might not be.
Here's the answer to that. So Drunkie's prediction last week is maybe they're just the timeline that won.
But that's official.
And yeah, so if the sacred timeline is just the timeline that won, I'm thinking this Loki is from the timeline that was like the last battle, that last 1v1 timeline battle was this Loki's timeline and the sacred timeline, and her timeline's gone. She made it out. That's why she's doing all this. Is she's bombing the sacred timeline as retaliation. She's
I like that.
It's a revenge act of war. They
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's definitely something bigger.
that makes a lot of sense for sure.
Well, it's technically not a bomb. Doesn't like the.
They're
isn't
like
it just
resets. Yeah,
It's all
They're
like
reset
reset
charges.
time?
Yeah. Well, they said they're bombing the sacred timeline. And so it just is the term. It's like a airstrike in Call of Duty. It's doing a strip bomb across the timeline with all these resets, and it's trying to create a nexus that's gonna just destroy it all.
Can I don't want to get too ahead of myself here with all this, but I don't think that her bombing the timeline is her goal, is to create a different timelines like that. I think she was trying to get all the people out of the TVA. She wants to get as many of the agents out there because I think her and Loki are going to go into the TVA to do something.
I think they want to go like
it's like a
approach
mass
the
distraction.
timekeepers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like a night at the museum TVA edition.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I think they're going to get in there and do something. Like,
So do you think Loki's actually following her to like work with her or try to stop her? Because like you saw he was like second guessing it, like should I stay or should I go? Then it was kind of like a fuck it, I'm gonna go.
I don't think he's short yet. I don't think he's short.
He wants to see it in full.
Yeah.
yeah.
He's literally double. He's playing the double spy. That's what our Loki does best.
Mhm.
And I would say, like, going back to like Loki's kind of prime derivative, right? What's he following her through the portal? Not because he knows what he wants to do, outside of the fact that he wants to rule. He wants to be the head honcho of everything. So he feels like through something he can. That's like a pathway for him to get to like the top, to try and take over the world or the timeline, whatever it is. Loki's always trying to get in charge, right? And so I think he's just chasing whatever that is.
See, like I think that like he had that mindset until like Mobius showed him his timeline. Like, hey, like you were once this person, but now this is who you became, and like
Yeah.
And like maybe he's like, maybe I'm not like bad. Like maybe I shouldn't be this evil person that I want to be. You know?
Or, well, I'll throw this out there, and I don't know if I'm like way off on it. He saw his own death. He saw what it all led to, and he goes, "Well, I'm not gonna let that happen. I'm gonna figure out how to be stronger than Thanos, how to be better than this, so I don't die." You know, like as much as like he may have changed, at the same time, villains, do they ever like really change? They always got that thing that writers like to throw in. They always got that hint of themselves inside of them.
Yeah.
Because who knows? Who knows what like Loki's end goal is? I think there's a problem with me in the series right now. Where like it's not like I dislike it. I just got so many questions that all my questions make me kind of dislike it, and I got to wait till the end of the series to kind of like really figure out if I like this or not.
Bro,
I have a feeling they're gonna flip it hard on us. I have a feeling they're gonna like do some crazy shit,
dude.
Like either next week's episode or after that episode.
Dude,
they always wait until the middle of the season to like just flip shit. So
we got it,
bro. The head writer.
Remember,
sorry, I was just real quick. The head writer of the show is from fucking Rick and Morty. Like he's a writer for Rick and Morty. So it's gonna get insane. Like you know what I mean?
Morty guys from Fortnite. Does it? So he writes for Fortnite then, right?
Correct. And he said the back half of the season is going to be fucking wild. He was asked directly about the Peggy Carter thing, and he goes, "Just watch the fucking show."
That's what Tom Hiddleston said too. He's like, when they handed me the script, he was like,
"What the fuck is going on?"
He was like, halfway through it, I did not expect any of the shit that they wrote in there like to happen.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, it's gonna change everything.
Yeah,
his performance in each episode so far, holy,
he's so
good.
He's incredible.
He is acting so well.
Yeah, that Peggy Carter we saw, that's got to be the What If Peggy Carter, right?
Well,
they're forming the Guardians of the Multiverse. That's got to be the What If Peggy Carter.
Here's
amazing.
Here's what I'm thinking, right? So I don't think it's the What If Peggy Carter. I actually think what Enchantress did at the very end is what creates What If. She literally created What If at the very end when she drops all that in and splits out reality, multiverses everywhere, right?
That gave me fucking goosebumps. Like to see all the branches, I was like, "Oh my god!"
That's What If. You're witnessing What If. And the Peggy Carter, right? Just very quickly, and then I'll let you talk, Alex. The Peggy Carter, just before, because I know this will slip my mind, but the Peggy Carter, an amazing theory that I read, and it makes so much sense. So when Cap goes back in time at the very end, and he decides at the very end that he's going to spend his life with Peggy Carter. Him doing that action actually changes her life completely. So Peggy, not Steve, because Steve was meant to return the stones, but Peggy's life is completely in disarray. She's the variant because it's her life that's completely altered by Steve going back. So that's why she's the one that gets picked up. There's a second theory going around that Steve goes back, has his dance with her, completely destroys Peggy's life because now she's like, he's alive, blah, blah, blah. She's going to go on a completely different path. Her butterfly effect, her life is completely different now. But Steve doesn't actually stay with her because he doesn't want to ruin her life. So Steve goes back, and the last stone that he returns is the Soul Stone. He gets Nat back and spends the rest of his life with Nat. Boom. And then at the very end of Endgame, when he's asked, when he's like wearing the ring, and it's like, do you want to tell me about her? He goes, no, I don't want to tell you because it's fucking Black Widow. Boom. He doesn't want to make any more ripples by telling people that he saved her life. He lived with her in secret. And then Peggy went on and had her own life.
I love that theory.
The theories that Finto comes with.
I'm not
Toby to show up.
I'm not gonna take credit for that. I didn't make it up, but it's one that I heard. It makes a lot of fucking sense. Yeah. And the more I think about it, the more it makes sense. The fact that you've got Peggy in the TVA, it looks like she's been picked up. She's wearing the same clothes that she was wearing in the Agent Carter show, which took place directly after the first movie. So it would make sense that Steve went back, maybe stayed with her for a few weeks, and then just said, "Look, I can't stay here because of the timeline, blah blah blah. It'll ruin everything." So he goes, but the damage is already done. TVA picks her up.
It's easy to tell Finto made up the theory. Just ask yourself how many Spider-Mans are in this. If the answer is 0, Finto's not involved.
Well, hang on a second. I need to bring something up here real quick.
I got Spider-Man for you.
Just wait. Are you ready?
Really?
I don't think you're ready.
Sure.
Is everybody ready? You're not ready.
You're not ready.
You're not ready.
You're not ready.
Does anybody remember this?
Oh, yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
They're all Spider-Man.
No.
You're an idiot.
On a beach.
You're an idiot.
I'm joking.
see,
They're not. But
like-
they are the timekeepers sitting with Stan Lee at the end of Guardians.
What's crazy is I heard that like they might make like Stan Lee be one of the timekeepers himself. Just like to pay homage like to him like with his cameos and have him like officially be like the protector of the sacred timeline, you know, because technically he is the protector
He'd probably
of
be
our
he
sacred
who
timeline.
remains
Can I-
behind.
Can I blow?
I would think
can I
in a
blow
bigger
lines as
sense,
well?
it would be.
No, Alex,
Or
go
what?
ahead. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I would think even further than that. He is Hero who remains.
Yeah, that's what
He
I'm
is
saying.
the end all be all. He's
Stan
the
Lee.
reason why the timekeepers exist.
Stan
So
Lee is.
if you
Yeah.
guys don't
Love
remember
it.
when Alex was
Love
telling
it.
that, I can give you a quick refresher because I just watched a video that explains it so well. He who remains pretty much is the guy at the end of time. The timekeepers watch over all of time, and then at the end of time, the timekeepers create he who remains. And the mind loop, the mind blow here is that he who remains creates the timekeepers at the start of the next time. So the timekeepers
It's
create
the loop,
their
like-
own creators. Yeah, they created
infinity.
their own. Yeah, they created their own creators, their own creator in He Who Remains. So like, without He Who Remains, they don't exist. So he's the one that created them. So if that's Stanley, that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
That'd be
like it.
Also, they weren't really in the comics at all. I learned today they only appeared in 39 comics ever.
Yeah,
I'm not high enough for this show, man. Like this fucking all this like time stuff that's going on, like all this multiverse. Like my brain isn't ready. Like I'm just too
Yeah.
on the straight and narrow path
gotta-
right now to figure out this stuff.
I think what
And
you
the
Yeah,
only-
I was with it. I was on the train with WandaVision. I was on the train with Falcon and Winter Soldier. But now it's too much for me. I feel
Come
lost.
to the dark side, baby. Come to the dark side.
Yeah.
You guys,
Start letting your mind
you guys
flow.
didn't watch enough Flash and it shows. You guys
Bro.
didn't watch enough Flash and it
Yeah.
shows. This
Bro,
is nothing.
what you got to do, right, is you got to just sit back and you got to enjoy the ride, bro. You can't
Yeah.
go too deep. You can't think too much about it because
I
if you
can't help
do,
it.
I know, no, and you're right, and I respect the shit out of it, and I do the same thing. But at the end of the day, you can't let where your brain goes rate the episode for you or rate the show because you know there's going to be loopholes, there's going to be plot holes, there's going to be fuck ups in all time travel shit. Like there always
Yeah.
is. They can't get it perfectly right because they're not smart enough to do it. Like, you know what I mean? These guys are screenwriters. They're reading comic books. Like, do you know what I mean? They're not fucking scientists. Like, they're not going to get it 100%.
I mean, they
That's
need to
why
hire a scientist.
I feel like we're settling then. I feel like we're settling. And like the reason I don't like timeline stuff, the reason I don't like multiverse stuff is because we do go off on these like weird plot hole things and you can't tie up all the loose ends.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of ends up wrecking the universe in the end, you know? Like I just dude, I'm not a fan of the multiverse thing going on right now.
Here's one for you.
I think I'm gonna struggle during phase 4. I think I'm gonna struggle in phase 4. Maybe
Phase
I'll
4 is all time travel, bro. You got to get used to this
Yeah,
shit.
it's
Like
gonna-
this
it's
is
gonna
the
be
next
going
5 or
nuts.
6 years of your life is going to be
They
going to
got
be
used
this.
to my complaining ass, all right?
Yeah. Here's
the
another
only
one.
thing that I was surprised about. Sorry, the only thing I was surprised about was the fact that like I was thinking that they were gonna do the explosion at the end of the series. No, they were like second episode, baby. Boom.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. Give it to me. Like
Exactly.
the last thing I want is for that to happen, and then for us to have to wait for like Doctor
Yeah.
Strange or Spider-Man. Like I'm like, fuck that.
Oh.
Give it to me now. Let us boil in it. You know, like I want to see what happens. I want to see how Loki tries to fix it. I want to see how he fails to fix it, and then you know we go into Spider-Man and it just gets worse, and then
Yeah.
we go into fucking Doctor Strange and it's madness. As the title says, it's madness, and then it's like, right, okay, how the fuck is Strange gonna fix this? And then I don't think he's even gonna fix it. I think it's gonna continue on. I think we're actually gonna get more, and then maybe it'll get sorted just before like Secret Invasion, and then we go into like Cap 4 and so on. But we're still kind of boiling in it, you know. Like I think
And-
we're gonna be in the madness for
also-
years, bro.
I think
And I also think it's the Spider-Verse that's starting just now as well.
100%. Like I've been saying this for weeks. You think I'm insane, but this is actually where it's going.
You are insane, but I love it.
Spider-Verse is coming, bro. It'd be stupid if it wasn't.
This is their chance to make it happen. Like with what they're doing now, with all those branches that were breaking off, this is the chance to be like, yeah, like this is the introduction of like the Spider-Verse, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Kitchen, you're dead right, bro. Like X-Men do this all the time. Like they throw out so many story arcs, and then there's just so much shit out there. There's so much shit, like, and then it's like it takes years to close it all. But that's what they want. That's what they want, bro. They want to milk it. Like they're milking it for as long as they can.
It's just hard.
No.
There was an article I was just reading, like right before you went live, saying that Mobius got delayed again because Tyrese like slipped up and was saying that part of the movie is gonna like introduce like the merge with the MCU.
Yeah,
and Sony had to come and like make a statement about it.
Yeah,
and,
I think
like delayed it again.
I think they're lying about that. Because I think Tyrese is actually right. I think he's actually leaked something that he shouldn't have. I think it's in his contract that he is to appear in the MCU. And I think that he wasn't supposed to fucking say that. And now they're kind of flipping it around like, oh, we're going to delay the movie because we want a bit of a spookier vibe next year. But now it's like, actually, you know, the cat's out of the bag. And now what they're doing is they can't actually release the movie now because they want the events of like Loki to finish up and Spider-Verse and all this stuff to happen. And then it's going to make more sense that it happens. I think the whole timeline getting fucked up, the Sony Disney deal, I think it's kind of put the brakes on a lot of stuff, and now it's all kind of they've got the Sony deal done, so now the floodgates are opening, you know. But yeah, I think he mentioned that like in 2019 or something. He mentioned that he was in the MCU. Everyone was just like, "You're an idiot, bro. You don't know what you're talking about." But now it's like, "Oh, hang on a second. This actually is making sense because you've got like Michael Keaton appearing as Vulture and all this sort of stuff, and now we know that the Spider-Verse is opening because we've got like Jamie Foxx in Spider-Man 3. We've got like Alfred Molina coming back. It's the Sinister Six, but it's a multiverse Sinister Six, so we know that what he's actually saying is true. He just shouldn't have fucking said it. You know? It's crazy. It's crazy. I think I'd say he's in a lot of trouble behind closed doors. Like, as in, like, you know, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? Like, you gotta shut your mouth, like, you know,
they're probably
NDAs
like,
everywhere,
NDA.
bro.
Exactly.
NDAs everywhere.
Like you signed your NDA and you fucking like voided that contract, you know?
Yeah, I'd say so.
I feel like he ended up like Mark Ruffalo when he was like, you know, in the you know, they all died.
Yeah.
He's like, oh shoot.
He said it on live TV, bro.
This is hard.
And I love that thing just looks at him. Did you just spoil the movie? And he's just like, oh my god.
Dude, you know that feeling you get when you do something like that?
Oh, you feel like you're gonna piss yourself, like you
feel like a ghost just went through you, and you're like, kind of going back to what Alex said. I really love that they did this second episode because now I'm just like, the rest of the shows has to just be fire. It has to be awesome. We got this episode too, and like. Also, going back to like Tom acting his ass off, Owen Wilson is doing work in this show. Very dynamic, and just like his little like comments is like right before he walks out of the office, and he's like, just like the little things he says. It's just so good.
Bro, like and like people were I'm very skeptical of what like studios say and what execs say on the build up to a show because like, you know, they're obviously, it's their project, it's their money. They're obviously going to be like, this is the best thing ever. But like when I heard like, you know, all the chemistry between these two rivals, like Chris Hemsworth and Loki, like, you know, like Thor and Loki, this is like, it's a better on-screen chemistry. I'm like, is that possible? I'm like, what? And then you watch it and you're like, oh shit, they actually weren't lying. This is just the best. And I don't know if it's down to the writers that they have and just the fact that they can just like make characters play off each other so well, and then they've got obviously the talent that's there in the two actors and stuff. Like, I would never have really rated Owen Wilson that high in Hollywood. I know he's like, you know, you can tell he's a talented actor, but at the same time, like when somebody kind of focuses most of their career on comedy, I just can't really take them 100% serious as an actor, you know, as a serious actor. Do you know what I mean? Like, even like Ryan Reynolds, I would say, you know, he's a fucking jokester, and in most movies he kind of plays himself, but, you know, obviously he's a great actor, but, I'm not putting Ryan Reynolds in the same kind of league as Leonardo DiCaprio, for example, but like acting wise they probably are quite similar, but you put them in different categories just because of the roles that they do. And I think Owen Wilson kind of fell into that for me, and I'm very curious to see what kind of work he's going to get after this now, because it's just like this has probably opened up the floodgates for him now in Hollywood, where people are like, shit, we can start putting this guy in like detective shows and shit and detective movies, and we could have him sitting beside Leonardo DiCaprio or Brad Pitt. Detective. Yeah, you could have him sitting beside Matthew McConaughey in a film, like no problem. Like he can act his ass off, like, you know what I mean. Whereas before, it's like, oh, the motherfucker from Wedding Crashers, like it's like, do we want him sitting beside Leonardo DiCaprio? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, you watch your time.
This is Bottle Rocket here. I
love all these movies. I love
think
Starsky and Hutch is like one of my favorite comedy movies, and again, I love all these movies, but I just like he's entered a new airspace, basically, is what I'm trying to say.
I think that Tom Hiddleston and Owen Wilson play so well off each other, because like when you think about Chris Hemsworth, you think about everybody in the MCU. They're all characters. They're all like a funny man who always got the punchline, right? And they all got like kind of the same energy. But Owen Wilson brings this like dry humor to where Tom Hiddleston and Chris Hemsworth are like over the top, funny, hit the punchline, and then you got Owen Wilson's like dry humor to bounce off of it. Yeah, it's like
poetry,
classic comedy. That's it's like poetry. We really don't get in Hollywood anymore. We don't get that type of comedy anymore. And it's just like it worked. It's so well because Owen Wilson, like, although I think he's a fantastic actor, he doesn't have the biggest range. Yeah. But what he does do, he does better than anybody, I think, in Hollywood, where he's like deadpan. He's, he's removed from the situation, and he's the audience member looking at how ridiculous the person looks. Like, I love that about him.
Yeah, no.
Silver Fox Owen Wilson is going to have a resurgence of a career. This new Owen Wilson is amazing.
Yeah.
Did anyone else notice that it was pretty funny that they went to Pompeii in the show, because that wasn't Owen Wilson's first time in Pompeii.
Yeah.
Because Night at the Museum.
Yeah. So
they're in Pompeii when the volcano erupts. So I was like, I like that. Like, this is his second time in Pompeii, and I'm like, oh my god. Like, I wonder what he thought when he saw the script.
I don't know if any of you guys saw, I was like sending a TikTok around today. I don't know if you check your DMs in TikTok very often, but there was one where it was like spoiling Loki episode 2 out of context. And one of the clips was Owen Wilson running in Night at the Museum in Pompeii.
So
oh, bro, it is gold.
I don't know if you guys know the show Hot Ones. I was telling Finto about it. They just had Elizabeth Olsen on that show, and they were talking about
episode yet.
Yeah, they're talking about her favorite. They talk a lot about WandaVision, and they're talking about like her favorite Easter eggs. And she said people like the props guy randomly put a label on a bottle of wine in like the first or second episode that translated in French to House of Madness. And he just did that on his own. Like the prop guy just randomly put a label in French that said House of Madness, and like they have Easter eggs like that hidden in these shows. So yeah.
Yeah, I love the little detail like that. Like, it's just, that's the shit we look for, when we're trying to break stuff down. And speaking of breaking stuff down, I'm actually going to play a video real quick, because it breaks down the final event just stunningly. So let me just pop this up real quick. It's actually a TikTok video, so it might look a bit shit on the screen, but it just sums it up perfectly, because I wasn't taking notes on all this shit. I was like, I'll just play this video. Someone else did the work. Watch this. Right, get ready for this, guys.
Details you might have missed in Loki episode 2. Spoiler alert, countdown 3, 2, 1, let's go. I Need a Hero plays when the beautiful C20 wrecks her own team. A possible early clue that Lady Loki may not actually be the villain. Renslayer says she has an analyst on the side, wink wink. I'm willing to bet that analyst is Avengers villain Kang the Conqueror, her lover in the comics. Mobius points out that he learned that Loki loves to stall for time, something Lady Loki actually does at the end. Loki takes Casey's Boku fruit juice, which, along with Josta, is another real-life discontinued juice brand from the past. The ending takes place at Roxcar, the corrupt power conglomerate from the comics. And my favorite detail, check out where all of the reset charges landed. Vormir, home of the Soul Stone, Asgard, Sakaar, home of the Grand Master, Ego, Star-Lord's father and the living planet, Titan, Thanos' homeworld, Hala, home of the Kree, and Xandar, home of the Nova Corps. Trust me, this is a video on its own. For now, that's the tea.
Woohoo!
Holy.
There are
New
a few historical ones as well.
New Rockstars actually goes way deeper. He goes through absolutely every single drop, but yeah, it's insane. Like the amount of places. And like he goes through like the times, like the actual like years that it happens. Like I think there's a drop in like the year 3000 or some shit. Like,
I have a question. Kang is not a timekeeper, is he?
no,
We don't know.
No, but they speculate that he might
Well,
be.
people are speculating that he is a timekeeper in the MCU because the guy in the middle of what's her face's office, Renslayer, looks like Kang the Conqueror.
Yeah.
And anytime she mentions the timekeeper, she looks directly at that statue, like she worships him, you know. So it's like
she's always like framed like right underneath him and stuff, like all this weird stuff that they're hinting at.
Yeah,
and I was thinking like this might be like an origin story inside the MCU for Kang the Conqueror, where like this is like his beginning, you know, like whatever the fallout of this is, like this creates him as like I'm gonna do this shit, and whatever his comic book story is, they might still lean into that. But you know, this could be like the beginning of actually him like taking on like whatever the mantle is, Kang the Conqueror.
They've really laid the groundwork. Like Owen Wilson's entire dialogue in that office was like that of jealousy. Like, oh, who did you get that from? Your new analyst side? Like, like you said.
I just can't wait for Hulk to fight Kang.
Let's go. I heard a great
She-Hulk fight Kang. Thank you.
I heard a great one.
Yeah.
I heard a great one about Kang. So you know the way they're always talking about the sacred timeline and everything happens for a reason. So they're saying that potentially Kang is the one who's actually controlling the timekeepers, or is a timekeeper, whichever way they're going to do it. So people were kind of saying like, you know, why did they let the Avengers go back? And the main kind of theory that's going around is that Kang himself actually let it happen so that the Avengers would take Thanos off the board for Kang, which is interesting.
Because Renslayer is dictating the flow of time according to their dictation.
Yes. Yeah, and she has a relationship with Kang, so she would obviously be doing all of this in his favor because she's like a secret agent working for him. Yeah, big time.
I can believe that.
Big time.
That's a cool theory.
Yeah. As well, did you notice in the episode, you know, when Morbius is meeting with her and she gives out about the glass on the table, or you know, they're making the ring on the table. I noticed people talking about as well how potentially her assistant might not be Kang. You know, like she's saying she has another analyst on the board. It could actually be a different variant of Owen Wilson. Yeah, another Mobius. Yeah. Which would be
because they're all the TVA agents are all variants. I think they're all variants.
Yeah.
I just remembered another one of my theories that I think got proven this episode. Remember how I said that I think that all the TVA people might be robots? Look at the chick when Loki's getting the files and he has to walk up to her and he's like, hello, and then he has to do like the little bell and they kind of make that whole big deal. They're robots, bro.
Did you notice that she's using a mechanical keyboard? It looked like a ducky. I was like, oh my god, they got duckies. And I actually looked it up. Somebody put it up on TikTok. They were like, they put an Amazon link up. You could buy the actual keyboard.
That's so nice.
Oh, bro, I'm like, look at this. I was like, this. She's on a fucking mechanical keyboard. I was like, this is amazing.
Do you guys have any thoughts about Miss Minutes? How he was like, they're kind of getting into her existence and what's like, are you a recording or are you alive? And she's like, sort of both.
Yeah, well, you can see when she's actually bouncing around on the table, her footsteps are making sounds, and she's reactive to Loki. She's answering his questions and sort of playing recordings, so she's, as she says, she's a kind of bit of both. So I believe that she is actually a thing. I saw another mind-blowing thing as well today. Someone, again, I don't know how these people catch this shit, but like someone put up a video of Natalie Portman from the first Thor movie, and she's wearing a t-shirt with Miss Minutes on it.
That's
in one of the scenes, like there's a scene where she's running and she's wearing a t-shirt. I think it's when the big android thing is attacking the town, and she's wearing a t-shirt with Miss Minutes on it.
That's
crazy.
That is insane.
It's insane. Like, it's insane.
I really do believe though that all the people inside the TVA, I think they're variants, and the reason I think they're setting that up is because of how bad they talk about Loki and how much they look down on Loki and always talk about him being a variant, being a cosmic mistake. And so when it's a big reveal that they're all variants also, it's gonna be like this big awakening in the TVA. They're like, wait, what? Where are the variants? Like the whole thing falls apart.
It's gonna be Blade Runner.
Variants or robots, either way, we have motivation for them to turn against the TVA. That's all we need right here.
Yeah, I think it's kind of alluded a little way when Mobius is talking in this episode, and like, he hates everything. Everything is all business as usual until he starts talking about the jet ski, and he's talking about like the 1990s. So people are thinking like, has he been plucked out of time from like the 1990s, and he's been in the TVA for so long that he forgets everything. He becomes a bit of a fucking mindless robot because he's just on the mission all the time. But the only thing that he remembers from his previous life is how much he loves jet skis.
Yeah, if we don't get him on a jet ski by the end of this episode, it's going to be Falcon.
Everybody's gonna
It's going to be
I'm
Falcon
right.
and Winter
I'm right.
Soldier's boat V2, and I'm going to lose it.
I'm right.
The way it's
Right
gonna
next to their
end
boat.
is the game's gonna end Resident Evil 4 style, and it's gonna be fucking Mobius and Sylvie. They're gonna be on a jet ski together, like riding into the sunset.
Yeah.
Watch, I'm telling you.
Yeah,
He's
it'd
gonna
be
put
like,
his hand out, like, come
it'd be
on,
like
baby, come with me.
Scarface.
Come on,
Push
baby.
push it to the limits playing. Push it to the limit, dude.
I'm telling you, they're gonna ride into the sunset, dude.
That's me,
Robert.
Danger Zone. 100%.
Are they gonna ask for overtime?
Do you guys think that song at the very beginning, "We Need a Hero," was a little on the nose for setting it up that Lady Loki or whoever she is actually the hero, or is a hero in the show? Like a little on the nose, right?
Especially with that little recording they do for like the Renaissance fair. It's like, will a hero emerge? And then the song plays immediately after. Like, all right, you double down on it. All right.
Yeah, so like she's totally gonna, the TVA is terrible. Like they're just not hiding anything in their show. Like that we knew it was gonna be Lady Loki or a female Loki forever. And then even inside the show with the writing, and every like detective show I've ever watched, when they're chasing someone down, they always say they always like, oh yeah, we're gonna go after them, we're gonna find them, we're gonna chase them wherever they are. And in this one, it's always like, oh, wherever he is, wherever he's gonna be, we're gonna find him. And I'm just like, dude,
Well,
we
see,
know what you're setting up. Stop, like stop.
What's crazy is my first theory, what it was, which probably still could be true, but I don't want to get my hopes up. Is I thought that the variants that they were hunting for was Skrulls. Like, I think it's Skrulls trying to like frame like all of the Avengers.
That
And
beautifully ties in with what's to come.
And like that would explain why all of those Infinity Stones were in the the drawer, because that's just like stones that Skrulls got caught with. They're like, all right, well, we got you. Give me that stone. Because you're trying to break the timelines. And I think that's probably what's also going to start the secret invasion.
Yeah.
And like we're going to find out that
That'd
in
be
the
great.
end, like the big bads were actually the Skrulls this whole time, when they made us think the Skrulls were the good guys. Because in the secret invasion, that's who they fight, right? Like the fight's against the Skrulls, isn't it?
Yeah.
In the Secret Wars?
It's a scroll.
Yeah.
It's a scroll invasion. No one knows. Like, it's the classic shapeshifter story where you don't know who the fuck anybody is. Like, and they're just taking over everything. And they've been confirmed in the trailer. Like, there's scrolls. You can see scrolls in some of the Loki trailers, so we know they're there.
And like what confirmed it for me too is in the first episode, you see the Skrull in the background.
And they
like,
make
sitting
point
there-
to have audio for it. Well, we got a scroll here. Yeah.
with the TVA agent. So I was like, shit. I was like, that could be true. Like it could be Skrulls, like
big time.
trying to like frame all these people.
Big time.
Yeah.
Big time.
So I'm just like, there's plenty of possibilities.
Every single thing is there for a reason. Like, even just showing a scroll, it just kind of is building the whole baseline, the backstory, like, the foundation of where it's all going. Like, it's classic Marvel. They'll drop like a scroll in 2019, and then it's like 2023 nearly by the time like we get around to the full story. Like, there's always Iron Man 1, there was like references of like Atlantis and stuff like that. Like, if you actually dig deep into some of the maps that Tony's looking at when he's like looking for I can't remember what he's looking for. He has like a global map up, and Atlantis is marked on the map. Like, so it's like, even that far back, they're even just throwing the little bits at you. Like,
So, are you still kind of for Steve Rogers being a Skrull as an old man?
I think the old man Steve as a Skrull is a fucking brilliant storyline, because it just opens it up to bring Steve back without having to have him as Earth 2155 version of himself, like, where it's just fucking stupid, where he's picked out of nowhere, like,
I got
a good point too. He sorry, Kyle. He
Okay.
just said like if that theory was true, that it could possibly make Peggy a Skrull as well, the one that we saw in the background.
Bro, Owen Wilson.
So-
Owen Wilson could be a
I hate
scroll.
this troll.
anyone
I hate
knows.
this troll wild card for this reason though. Is that at any point you always have to say asterisk also could be a scroll.
Yeah.
Right now.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's do, like, I got a theory now. So Rogers goes back, hangs out with Peggy for a bit. Something happens. Peggy gets to be Captain Britain, right?
Yeah.
We could do something like that. We can, make it so that like Rogers gets like wiped out or he has to leave, just like you said, Finto, and she ends up taking the mantle, and she ends up like running as Captain Britain for a while, and then but they still need a Steve Rogers. So then you got the Skrull Rogers, and then Skrull Rogers just assumes that okay, at this point he should be about this old, but in fact the Super Soldier Serum should act as more like a longevity thing, so he might not look that old at that point. So I think it's just, if we were to go by your theory, I believe the scroll just assumes that's what Rogers would look like as an old man.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Like the way Isaiah Bradley was done, and he was like a stocky kind of 55-year-old man, but like he was really like 80 or whatever. And Steve probably should be the same. I agree. I think the what if stuff though, I don't know if that version that came through the thing was actually Peggy. I don't think that's the Captain Britain version. I think like Captain Britain, I think like the what if episodes, every single branch that we got, I think is actually going to become a what if episode. Do you know what I mean? And there's going to be, that series is going to have like 12 or 14 episodes, and each one is going to be just a crazy mashup story. Like I heard today that they've kind of confirmed that there's going to be like a Killmonger and Iron Man team up for one of the episodes, which is just like, it's crazy. Like, but it makes it makes sense. And then it's like, we got an alternate reality where Peggy Carter's the one who took the serum instead of Steve. Like, I like your thinking in your theory, but how does Peggy get the serum in your situation?
It's possible that she's just like Sam at that point.
Oh, so she's just like a human, but she takes the mantle without the serum?
Yeah, similar to Sam.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, well, like, if you've watched Agent Carter, she's an absolute fucking badass. Like, in the show, she kicks the shit out of people 3 times her size. Like, so, yeah.
So she could totally handle herself.
It could work, yeah. It could work.
So, this is potential phase spoilers, but I don't know if they're actually going to have the He Who Remains. But, like, from what I was hearing today, apparently, like, the end goal is, I think it's Thor and Jane. They travel to the end of time, and they have to convince him, He Who Remains, to not create the timekeepers at the end of time. So when time restarts, that it all doesn't happen. So I don't know if they're going to try to, because you know how they do these shows different. I don't know if that's going to come in the show at all. I don't know if He Who Remains is even going to be in the show, because maybe he would have been mentioned by now. But
there was the mention. There was the mention of when the mission's complete by Morbius that they would go to the end of time. So I can see it happening for sure.
One thing about that, Kyle, is that in the comics, Thor does end up going and seeing He Who Remains, and I think he actually assists the timekeepers in destroying the time twisters.
Yeah.
So it would be kind of interesting how this is a trade-off, or we could see that the timekeepers were actually the time twisters in disguise.
Yeah.
And then ultimately create the real timekeepers.
Mm-hmm. It could
Which
work.
are all through Spider-Man.
I could see like that coming, Jane and Thor, because Jane Foster, they that leak came out about the shirt or whatever. It shows her having Mjolnir.
Yeah.
So she's definitely from an alternate universe. She's not from the MCU universe. Because she has Mjolnir. Mjolnir doesn't exist in our timeline anymore. Steve took it back to where he got the ether. So she's coming from a different timeline, universe, whatever it is.
She might be Thor in her universe.
But
it might be.
I didn't think about that.
Here's one though. If Steve brought the hammer back though, would it? So you're saying it still would have been destroyed by Hela? Is that what you're saying? If he brought it back, because it was taken from 2013 before Ragnarok. So where's he bringing it back to? Is my question.
Where Thor took it from that moment, when Thor goes to grab it, and Jane's there in that palace at the time, and maybe Steve just sets it down. She's like, oh, someone else from other than Thor can pick that up. Let me try this out real quick. Boop, she picks it up. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just say, he takes it back to 2013 when she's at the palace before the mom dies, where Thor grabbed it from. And she could come from a different one multiverse where Captain America doesn't even interact with too. Like, who knows what story they're gonna tell with it?
Yeah, I don't. I always kind of just presumed that she was from the main timeline, and she just became worthy somehow. I've never read the comics, so I don't know how it happens in the comics, but that was kind of my presumption. You know, she becomes worthy. You know, she did technically possess the Reality Stone, the essence in her, didn't she, at one point with the second movie and stuff? So I think the fact that has happened to her, she's kind of been like what happened with Wanda when she gets like infused with the Mind Stone. It's like maybe she's become some sort of a being because she's been in contact with a stone and survived to tell the tale and all this shit. So maybe she becomes worthy in that sense. I don't know.
Could be a indicator how strong she is because it's inside of her and doesn't like kill her. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's what I'm
thinking. They can
thinking.
go anywhere with it. Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Another thing is that in the comics, she's stricken with cancer before she becomes Lady Thor.
Fuck.
So the idea is that because the stones, I believe, are emitting like radiation as well.
Makes sense.
That she is going to end up getting a form of cancer, and that she has to transform into Thor in order to like dissipate that feeling. But every time she comes back, she still has the cancer.
Oh shit, that's dark as fuck, bro.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, that's dark as fuck. That's an amazing story though. At the same time, so it's like, you know, so can somehow Thor, maybe with the power that he has, because now he's the Allfather now, right? Technically, he's taken over Odin's mantle. So the same thing as what Odin did with the hammer in the first place is like, you know, he kind of gave the power to Thor. You know, he blessed the hammer to Thor. Maybe maybe now Thor can actually bless the hammer to her, and it's kind of a cure. You know. And that's maybe that's what happens, because I just don't understand how Jane can, like, I know, you know, the whole Infinity Stone thing, I don't know how that would make her worthy. I don't know. But then at the same time, Vision could pick up the hammer as well. But I don't know. Is that the Mind Stone, or is that the fact he isn't human? Like, I don't know.
She's a pretty selfless being.
I think the only thing that makes you worthy is like being pure of heart, right?
Yeah, it's like something on the inside. It's not, you know, it's not physical. It's all inside you.
Knowing right from wrong.
I would say that if that's all it's based on, I would say, you know, there's many people that can hold a hammer then in that case. Like, you know, there's a lot of people that are selfless and all about good. Like, obviously, probably not the likes of Tony Stark or anything like that, but like...
He tried, he couldn't do it.
I know, but like, you know,
even... thrusters.
Yeah, that was a great scene.
Fucking cheater.
I love that
fucking
scene.
Cheater, you know, little thruster. If you're worthy, you can just pick it up with your bare fucking hand.
I love when he's like to Rhodey, are you even trying? You know? And he's like, I am, and it's like, you know, it's fucking brilliant.
Whose team are you on?
Yeah.
I still love the scine where everyone damn near like shit themselves when fucking Captain America like barely.
Yeah, he just goes. It just kind of goes a tiny little bit.
In the face, like, oh shoot.
Yeah, Thor's face. He's like, I knew it. He's like so small. I fucking love him. So good, dude.
And I've completely forgot that at the end of that whole scene, like Vision picks it up. Like,
yeah, and he hands it to him, and he's like, "Come on, we got work to do."
There you go.
And then he just hands it to him. I'm like, whoa,
that is the whole joke. That is the whole joke of like, you know, well, like if we put it on an elevator and the elevator goes up, is the elevator worthy? I love it, dude.
Oh my god.
Or when they hung it on the coat rack.
True.
I was thinking about some things I was watching videos who were like talking about the graphic they gave when Lady Loki took over someone's brain with like the green going into their temple.
Yeah.
And how it's similar to like what Wanda does or what the Vision did with the light.
Yeah.
And maybe this Sylvia or Lady Loki has something to do with the Mind Stone because of that. Because they've shown Loki like get in people's head before, but he's never done like the temple thing. And it showed like the same graphic of that, like you know, colored.
And
it's like a green vape. Yeah, it's like a he vape.
In order for Loki to be able to take people over, he had to use the scepter too, which had
Mind Stone.
Stone in it, didn't it?
Mind Stone, yeah.
Yep.
So I'm wondering now, is Enchantress or whatever her name is she actually not Lady Loki, and there is actually a Loki that's controlling her? So, or like a spirit of a Loki or something. So it's actually her being used as a weapon. Because when she walks towards him, or her hands start lighting up and stuff like that. So it's like, is that to be taken that she has the power, or she is possessed herself? You know.
Well, she does deny that she's Loki, because she's like, no, if anyone's anyone, you're me.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
And that's something that that's like something that a smug, older, like Overlord Loki would say, you know, from like sitting in a chair somewhere, like telepathically talking to people. You know. Also,
So
can we talk about how Loki is a telepath, and that power has never been seen before?
True.
That was crazy. I thought that was.
How did he talk in? When was there? Oh, you mean when he pulled the thing?
Yeah, he
to his hand?
He's able to just pull something.
He's never done that before. So that kind of
wasn't an illusion.
Well, I don't think so, but I think that's kind of now kind of breaking making people think now that maybe this version of Loki is actually not our Loki either. It's a different Loki because he's got different powers. Because all the Lokis talk about how they have different powers. So we actually might.
This is our
exactly.
Loki.
It's got to be our Loki. But I think in terms of that, he's seen Thor pull the hammer so many times. He had to have like practiced something so that he could have the same ability. So by watching Thor so many times, he probably learned how to practice and was able to like pull things.
It's just the fact he's never used it ever, and then it just kind of gets done, and there isn't even a bat of an eyelid or anything. It's just kind of like, yeah, this is normal. I was like, whoa! I was like, hang on a second, I got force powers. What the fuck is going on right now? You know what I mean?
Real quick though, did you catch a little moment in the show when they're walking up to the supermarket? And it like thunders, and Loki's the only one that like looks around.
He's like, "Oh shit!" I love that. I love that line in Avengers when it's just like, "Oh, you're not a fan of the lightning," and he's like, "I don't like what usually follows."
Yeah, that's a callback to that.
Yeah. I didn't notice that, but now that you pointed that out, it's fucking funny.
Yeah,
I love how like concerned he was.
I love the little bits in it, like, and especially like the talking between Owen Wilson and thing, like, you know, where it's like, you know, he's like, you're real smart, and Loki's like, I know I am, and he's like, yeah, I know, I said you were, like, you know, it's just that like little back and forth. It's just fucking beautiful.
I feel like first episode they like tore Loki down, like stripped him of his clothes, tried to show him how he was not powerful at all, and then this episode they've kind of brought it back some, where they're like, he uses his powers to dry off his clothes when they're in the hallway. He's like, no. An illusion is different from multicast, from duplicate, whatever the casting is, and he does that really nice explanation. He's like, but you guys already knew that. So like they're building him back up this episode but
they don't they don't know that, because Owen Wilson's like, are we listening? Like, we need to be taking notes here. Like, this is the first time we're hearing all of this being said. Like, so this version of Loki is genuinely helping them, and like from what Owen Wilson has said in the previous episode as well, like when they're like, you know, you're not going to be able to trust this one. You can tell that they've tried to do this in the past and it hasn't worked with previous Lokis, and like Morbius is like
Loki.
Morbius is nearly he's nearly giddy. He's like, shit, you know, we've actually finally got one that's playing ball. Take fucking notes, like, you know. Yeah, it's cool. It's really fucking cool.
In terms of what Lady Loki's using, though, it's not mind control. It seems to be possession.
Yeah. So 100%. When she touches somebody, the essence is passing through. That's what makes me think that it's not her. Like, she's just another vessel. She's another vessel.
Didn't he call it enchantment?
I was thinking the same thing.
Didn't he call what did Loki specifically call it? Didn't he call it enchantment? He's like, that's a little amateurish or something. He's like, oh, enchantment. Mind enchantment, that's a little amateur. I don't know what he exactly called it, but if you guys were saying enchantress might be involved, if he did call it enchantment, that's another.
Well, in the comic books, I'm right in thinking that Loki actually gave her those powers, right? Those powers were gifted to her by Loki, which kind of makes sense that in this version of it, she could just be under his thumb, like, you know, there is another Loki who's controlling her and just using her as a weapon.
And also, we don't know when she's from. She could be from the future, like Kane is.
Yeah.
She could be from a future like where she knows how strong Kane the Conqueror is. She's strong. She got her powers from Loki, and so like she's coming to take care of Kane. Like, that's her purpose.
Yep.
Because he's from the future. He's a futuristic dude. Like, Kane the Conqueror is not like a powerful dude. He's like the Iron Man of time traveling.
Yeah.
So maybe she's just like him.
Did you hear who was playing him? Did you hear who the casting is?
I can't remember his name.
It's the main.
His name.
It's the main character from Lovecraft. The main dude from Lovecraft. Yeah.
Jonathan's son, right?
Yeah.
But he's a fantastic actor. Love him. And he's also a
fantastic actor.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was in that Five Bloods movie that Spike Lee did too. Like, anything he's in, I just love. Like, he's fantastic. And it's funny enough, like, another character from Lovecraft Country is in this show is too. So Lovecraft Country really like
Yeah, they
spreading it out there.
I love when you see that.
They snatched up a few actors.
Yeah.
I
Is it
love when you
Renslayer?
see like people, 2-3 people from the same show get cast in another show, and they're like, "Yeah, you guys are kind of killing it in this show. Let's just
Yeah, they know they work.
duplicate
They know
that."
they
Over here.
They know they have the chemistry. They know they work well together. They know they test well on screen together. So yeah, why not? You know, grab a few people when it works. You know, 100%.
Jonathan
So-
Majors, that's his name.
Yeah, that's a really good name.
Yeah, no.
That's a fucking. That sounds like a fake like movie star name. You know, like like there's so many actors out there that their actor names aren't their real names. Like, and I remember like hearing that a few years ago.
182. We know it's
I
real.
was thinking the same
Yeah.
thing.
No, but like when you hear somebody who's like an actor who like Ashton Kutcher, it's not his name. His real name is Chris Kutcher. Like it's like he changed his name, and I'm like, why? Like I don't
Sometimes
know.
they have to because, like when they sign up to like the Actors Guild, if there's somebody else who has that same name who's part of the Actors Guild already, part of the union, they have to take another name. Like
Yeah, I
it's part
got
of the whole.
Wow,
it's Gibbs.
that's crazy, dude. Yeah, I thought that was wild. Let me see. Hang on. I kind of did
So-
my thing. I didn't watch this episode twice, but I kind of did my thing where I take a load of notes when I'm watching it.
So can I mention something about the variants?
Yes, please.
Um,
do.
Yes. Send it.
So, what we have to remember, and I'm sure that this, like the way the show is trying to paint it, we're trying to paint Loki, the variant Loki, as somebody who is going to redeem himself, somebody who's going to be like a good guy in the end. We have to remember we pulled him out when he was evil. Just because we show him a film doesn't mean that he's all of a sudden going to be good.
Oh,
he's
no.
just willing to play ball.
His plans just changed a little. That's all that is.
True.
He's
Yeah,
got a plan,
exactly.
and it's like you can see it in him. Like he's very. I saw somebody describe it as his humanity showing, but I'm like, he's not a human, so that kind of doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense. But like, I know what they're trying to say. But like, when he's reading the report of like the destruction of Asgard, and it's like you can see him tearing up. So you're like, okay, he obviously does care, but I think you're right. Like he definitely still has like conquership on his mind. Like he is trying to take over planets and stuff like that. So I think he's not the
My
same Loki that we had at the very
One-
end.
One
My
other thing
speculation is that he is not tearing up because he's sad. He's tearing up because he thinks it's beautiful. He sees the destruction.
Okay,
He sees the
yeah.
future. He understands
Yeah.
it's beautiful.
He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to rule over nothing. Like he might
Right.
be sad because
Well-
he's like, they're all dead. I can't rule them now. What is this? I need.
That's
but there's
true.
no one
One-
to rule.
Maybe he
One
thinks
thing-
if he could take over the TVA, he calls the shots. It's his
Yes.
timeline to create, and then it's
Okay, I
like,
like
right,
that
this
better.
is my universe now. I'm
Yeah.
gonna fucking
Yeah.
create. I'm God. I'm gonna create it. Like
Yeah.
Another
I like that
thing-
more.
I was
with the
kind of touching
very-
on that at the beginning, and just real quick before we get off of it. It's like the same way they use WandaVision show to level her up, the same way they use Falcon show to level him up.
Yeah.
I hope they're using Loki's show to kind of level him up and come back as like one of the biggest, baddest villains in the universe.
Yeah.
Because this is Loki. Like he's still a huge villain in the MCU's, and I like him better as a villain than I do as like a
Yeah.
quasi hero.
Yeah.
Like I like his villainous side way more. And so
100%.
I really hope they're using this to like kind of reassert him as like stronger than Thanos now. Like this is
Yeah.
Loki. This dude can drop buildings. Like he's like
Imagine
he
that.
doesn't just get tossed around like by the Hulk. Like he can take the Hulk. Like there are
He's a
times where like
god.
he can put up with the Hulk. You know?
Here's one. Imagine the Allfather versus like the Spectre Loki. Like, that'd be
One thing I was
wild.
trying to, one thing I wanted to get at when he was saying, when Alex was saying, think about the variants. Think about the word variant. It means it's it's like a shorter to the derivative of variation. So variants only, I feel like variants only exist because they think that the Loki in the sacred timeline is the proper Loki, and any Loki or any version that's not the sacred timeline, those are variants. Because if you look at the credit screens, they have a lot of images of like the little man that you see on like a men's restroom thing, and being the main one, and then an arrow showing lines of what are like variants. So like to them, if you're not from the sacred timeline, you're just a variant. You don't matter.
Here's while we're talking about variants as well. Here's one that blew my mind. So is it Infinity War where Doctor Strange talks about how we saw 14 million different timelines and different variants and all this shit, and it's like, okay, there's only one that works. It's like, how does that? This is kind of like a plot hole in a way, because it's like, if the sacred timeline is the one timeline that is set in stone, how does Doctor Strange have the ability to see 14 million different timelines when the timekeepers have only set one? Technically, when Strange looks into the future, he should only see one. He should only see the one where Tony dies, and that's the sacred timeline.
Yeah.
It's possible because they're not branching too far off. They're not considered a new universe, and so it's just a fraction of the power used to discern that moment and seeing how far ahead it can push forward before it's like way too much. And I know it's like reaching to like literally the end game, but I mean it's a time stone as well. Like it's part of that timeline, and therefore it has the dictation to go wherever it pleases in terms of time. It's able to reverse and forward the time.
I mean, technically, he could have just went to spots, all those different variations. He could just be showing up, see the TVA there pruning everything, and be like, oh, well, this isn't working out. Guess this one doesn't work. Goes to the next one. TVA's there going, nope, prunes everything. And he just keeps showing up to these places, and those time reset charges are going off. So he's like, well, if this is going off, obviously this doesn't work out for us. This isn't right. And only one variation of all those 14 million where the TVA doesn't show up, and that's the one that they have to go with,
And
I don't think
another
Strange
thing I'm
is
thinking,
aware of the TVA.
I don't think so either. But in terms of that, also they're just theories. They're like hypotheticals. So in terms of hypotheticals, I mean you can only see so much before reality sets in, right?
Yeah.
So
Sure.
that's what I'm thinking.
And there could be also different verses where they lose, and that timeline just goes on with them dead, right? And the way I have heard timelines explained and multiverse explained by physicists and stuff is like thinking about it like time as like a large river, right? And there's a strong river and it's a current, and then you pour like a whole bunch of dish soap into that, and now it's creating all these tiny little bubbles. But all those bubbles that you're creating are all their different little universes, but they're all going down that river at the same time. They're all just different universes. Like they're not like split, they're just like in it. So I think that's kind of how we have to think about this timeline. And this is me saying like I hate this shit, and this is why it hurts for me to fucking think about it. Is like all these different multiverses are tiny little bubbles inside this huge river that's all going the same direction. And a variance is when like something splits off out of that river and goes too far and like ruins what that river is. So maybe Strange was able to see all the other little bubbles and ways it could go leading up to that point, and then this is the one way where they actually win inside of that time.
How much red yarn did you buy off? I need to know how much red yarn you bought off Amazon.
Digging that rabbit hole.
Drunky's gonna have a wall like Finto's Spider-Man wall with the red yarn going from point to point. That's why Drunky's mad right now. Is because he doesn't have enough red yarn. His wall is running out of room.
Drunky used to give Finto so much shit about his theories, but now it's slowly starting to take over him too.
This isn't a theory. This is how timelines and multiverses are explained. I hate this stuff.
Mine aren't theories either. Mine are fact.
Oh, okay, buddy.
Okay,
buddy.
Okay.
I'm telling you guys, it's
The
fact.
timekeepers, Toby, Andrew, and Tom have told him such.
Yeah.
Do you see the TikTok of like someone saying like this is the main timeline that we're inside all the multiverses because this episode that blew everything up was released on 6/16?
Yeah, 616. And that is probably true. Like that's probably why it was scheduled for release. That could be one of the reasons why they changed the fucking date. Like, did you see Disney now have decided that the premieres of all the new shows going forward are all going to be moved to Wednesday, and they're leaving Fridays for movies.
Oh,
They're leaving Fridays
perfect.
for the boys, for the chaps.
Yeah.
Well, while we're still on the subject of like Doctor Strange and multiverses and all that stuff, I swear to God, what if better pull like some fucking Tales from the Crypt shit and have like Doctor Strange be like the host of What If and like have him be like, oh yeah,
He's
like,
sitting in a chair reading
like
books.
Yeah.
like, you know,
He have an old haircut.
you know the 14 million possibilities I saw. Here's some of them. You know,
Yeah.
like this is it.
Oh, that would be beautiful.
I really
I'm
think
telling
that
you.
what Enchantress has done at the very end, I think that's what's launching What If. Like, it just makes a lot of sense. Like, all these branches are just What If.
Listen to him calling her Enchantress with confidence already. Like
With confidence.
It is 100%.
It's got to be because it's Sylvie.
Yeah, she's credited at the end of the episode, the actress, as being Sylvie, so it's got to be.
Can I ask Anders, why do you hate the show so much? Can you enlighten me on what you don't like about the show too?
Don't hate it. I love it. I love the scene. I love the tone. I love the sounds, the acting. But I am not following the story. It feels like I'm just enjoying people doing their job, and then there's a bigger picture going on, and I'm not getting it quite yet.
Yeah,
That's usually what they do. Like, I feel like either next week's episode's going to change your mind on that, or whatever happens after that. Because that's the way I felt. That's the way I felt with WandaVision when I saw the first 2 episodes.
It's the MCU Law and Order.
Yeah, because I was basically like, is this the route we're going with this? I was like, I have no idea what the fuck's going on. And then like the 3rd episode happened, and I was like, okay, now it's starting to make sense, you know? So I'm like, all right.
Yeah, but I mean, like in WandaVision, I could feel like there was some set rules to the show from the beginning. Like it's in that dome, and she has created her universe, and etc. Yeah. But in this one, I feel like there is no rules. Anything can happen.
Well, there's a very specific set of rules, but we don't know what they are. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it's like they can bring in anything.
Yeah,
and I could be like, okay, this was what's going on. But I feel like that was coming.
Yeah.
That's why. That's the reason I never like scrolls, is because when you get into something like shapeshifting or time travel, you just have a get out of jail free card to do whatever you want. It's too much of a crutch to fall back on for lazy writing. And I'm not saying any of this writing has been bad so far, but it just, knowing that you have that scapegoat and that out at all times, it's like, well, I mean, at the end of the day, we're in a multiverse, so
yeah.
That's why I don't want the Finto Black Widow theory to be true, because I would feel like that would like get out of jail free card.
You lose the stakes. You lose what it's at risk. Where the MCU finally set up stakes for their own universe, where like we lost Black Widow, we lost Iron Man, and Captain America's out of the picture now. Like people can die in this thing, people can lose and like they go away, or they can win and go away. And then they're like multiverse, psych. Like never mind.
Exactly. I would be so sad if they brought back.
And they're literally terming stuff set as like reset charges and pruning. Like, we can prune out what we want. We have reset charges. They're literally terming these things. The terminology is set up as such as well. Like they're kind of leaning into it. But like I said, the writing hasn't shown to be lazy so far. But they're also kind of setting it up to where they can be still.
Yeah.
Like I think when time travel stories are told badly, I think you really notice them. You really see all these little shitty plot holes and easy escapes. But I just think that where this is going, like what we've seen so far, has been very intelligent. It's been very much bigger pictures coming sort of stuff. And I don't think Marvel can fuck it up, because they've got too much source material to work with. They've got all these intelligent writers. It's like the biggest fucking franchise in the world. I just don't think that they have the power to really fuck it up like the CW would with a fucking Flash storyline where they don't really give a fuck and there's only like 1 million people watching it, you know? This is like the biggest fucking stage in the world, and I just think that there's no way that they haven't not got it right. Like, I would not be surprised if they wrote up all the scripts for all this and Feige has his plan for the next 10 years, and I would not be surprised if he went to physicists and shit and was like, you know, proofread this shit, tell me where I'm going, like, absolutely bonkers, and just, you know, try and tidy this up for me, and if we need to change some stuff, let us know, because we want to make this shit slap. Like, it has to be like Interstellar, like, you know, it has to be something that at the end of it you kind of sit back and go, fuck yeah, that's all very possible. Because when it's not possible, when it's all bullshit and it's all like just far-fetched, just quick cash grabs, the fan base will just be like, fuck this is stupid. Like, you know, like, we take this shit, even though it's comic books, we still take it like it's gospel. We take it like it's serious. And I think they know that, and they know they have to put on the Class A show. They have to make it make sense, even though we're talking about fucking gods and, you know, people with superpowers, which is ridiculous.
Feige got put in the comics, by the way. Just wanted to mention that. Real quick.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I saw that.
And Owen Wilson even said it in the second episode. He's like, dude, like, you're a god. Like, you know, you tell people about like who you are and what you do, and it's like, you're telling me I'm crazy.
Yeah.
It's like it's ridiculous.
Yeah. And like to Finto's point, like, while they might get the mechanics of this right, they might be, doing too much to characters that don't make it good and do ruin it. When they go back and they say things like, well, Loki was never truly bad. It was just the Mind Stone kind of controlling him, making him bad, and having him do these bad choices and being influenced. Like they can ruin characters like that, and where it's like, up until the moment they said that, Loki was a very villainous person and he just had villainous intent. But now it's like, oh, he kind of didn't. Like, it's when they soften stuff up, they can ruin it, man. Disney can ruin. They got a lot of hubris. If you have a lot of successes, you start to have, that blinder of success on, and you stop checking your corners. You stop looking out for the mistakes you're making, and I don't know. I get nervous. I'm nervous about
just like Nokia. Just like Nokia.
Yeah, yeah. Those bastards got way too cocky.
They did.
Yeah. I think you're right, Junkie, and I think from what we kind of know of what's coming in Phase 4, I don't think they're quite there yet, but I do think they definitely have the power to drop the ball in the future.
Yeah.
Phase 4 makes a lot of sense to me, just from kind of what we know from animation and comics and stuff like that, and the lore that we know of. It just makes a lot of sense as to where it's going. It still feels like they're telling the story that's been told already, but they're just adapting it for all the normal fans who don't know. I still think that they're very much on an autopilot course, and it's all free fucking money for them now. The problem, I think, comes when they kind of get to either current times with the comics, or I don't really read much Marvel now. I'm gonna guess it's kind of like DC in a lot of ways, and the best stories are kind of behind them in a way. I kind of feel like there's a lot of Batman that's coming out now, and it's good, but it's nowhere near as good as the old stuff, and I just think that and it's the same with Game of Thrones, when they got to the end of season 6 and they caught up with the books, it's like, shit, where do we go from here? And now it's like, okay, we're actually have to start writing our own shit, and now we're in trouble because we don't have any source material to work off, and the writer of the books is a bit of a prick, we're gonna fucking fire him. And then it's like, what happens when you get past the stuff that Stan and all the originals did? That's where I get worried, because it's like, now you're focusing on writers who have to actually draw up this stuff from the whiteboards, and that's when it gets scary. But I think we're a good bit off that, and I think honestly, what'll probably happen is when they get to that point, they'll just fucking reboot and start all over again. Because if you think about it, that'll happen in 15, 20 years. And in that time frame, it's like you've got a whole new generation of people who don't know who the fuck Chris Evans is, or Chris Evans is in his 60s now, so it's like, let's reboot, start again. We'll get all the new fresh actors coming up, and we'll just reboot everything. And then it's like, now they've got 20 years again to just start all over again, tell the whole fucking shit again. But now it's going to look even better the next time because CGI is even better and all this shit,
But I wonder about that though, because in more recent comics, we're seeing newer and newer characters as they come along, and it's like, yeah, I understand that reboots would be fine. Everybody loves the original characters, the original cast, but as RDJ, Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, as they age, it's like, who are we going to get to replace them? And so why wouldn't it be a better idea just to advance the story, much like the comics are trying to advance, the Young Avengers, trying to do the Dark Avengers, trying to do New Avengers and whatnot, trying to add different variations of what we're of the flavors that we're already adjusted to.
Yeah.
And so I love the idea of a reboot. I am all for it, but I am also happy if they decide to push for new things.
I want to see them go forward. I think they have a lot of story to tell. Like I said, I think there's probably about 15 years on the current storyline that we have of, you do the whole psychic story, the whole Titans fucking style shit, you go into the sidekicks, which is what they're doing with Disney. You've got Hawkeye training up Kate Bishop, you've got She-Hulk and all this stuff, so they're definitely moving on to the B team, and then the B team's going to take over. You're definitely going to have Miles Morales come in, you're going to have a Black Captain America, this is all textbook, this is the way it goes. It's always the way it goes.
Not see a reboot for once and see something that actually goes. We've never had anything in our life, everything always gets rebooted. Why not have something that gets passed on? Just because you're not the one that started it doesn't mean you need to reboot it. Continue a legacy, almost like a sports team. Make it a dynasty, keep it going, make it something that 20, 30 years from now you can look back on this whole thing and be like, look at all these people over all this time that worked to make this huge, great project.
The only thing that ever did that was that I could think of is Star Wars.
Exactly. And And even
They
then,
had just gigantic breaks, though. You know,
even then,
they
they had big breaks and less content. Yeah.
And
So-
that worked out in their favor because
Oh, yeah.
I have no excitement about Star Wars right now in my life, and it's been the most Star Wars content we've ever gotten. I'm like, whatever.
I'm gonna change your mind before you go to bed tonight. Don't you worry.
No.
Don't you worry.
Um,
I think that Marvel's. I think they can stretch it out for a long time, and I think two things right here. Like I think the whole after Phase 4, the next big moving forward, the people who are really going to take over instead of the Avengers is going to be like the Fantastic Four, because they got a lot of Fantastic Four story to tell and to carry. And then I think after they're done with the Fantastic Four being told a lot of their stories and carrying the universe, they're going to move on to the mutants, right?
Yeah.
And the X-Men.
Exactly.
So, like, I think they got time, and I think the mutants and the X-Men is going to be a really great indicator on whether or not the MCU can take this forward without all the stories that are being told in the past. Because I don't know how you set up Magneto. I don't know how you set up Professor X at this point in the game. Because how do you bring him in?
And they've
Where
been there the
a lot
whole
of
time.
a lot of Magneto's story is like based in World War II, right?
Yeah.
Like coming out of his Jewish heritage.
Yeah.
And how do you tell that now? Like
Yeah.
he's, it's a long time since then.
Yeah.
So how do you reintroduce Magneto, kind of reimagine him possibly whenever he comes back in? How do you bring him back in from a multiverse? Like, how do they do that? That'll be fun. And I think the new X-Men comic books have been fantastic. The way they rebooted their universe was fucking awesome. It's been some of my favorite X-Men books in a long time. But we'll see. We'll see if they can do that, because that's weird how they do it.
I think X-Men is like a perfect example of like, where we are in kind of like our viewership and what we want to see, because like, you had the original X-Men movie released in like the year 2000. We're in 2021 now. It's 21 years later, and they're talking about the reboot. This is what I'm talking about. It's like the MCU is really like 2008. Like we're only like 11, 12 years into it. And I think we got like a solid like 8 or 10 more years of what we have now. And then I think if they start throwing around reboot, I think people will just be accepting of it because the time has passed. Like, the original X-Men movie really kind of set up a lot of what we have now, Like I know they talk about, like Marvel said, they were on the verge of bankruptcy before Blade 2. Blade 2 is the reason why we're here talking about this today, because Blade 2 was a success in the cinema and it kept Marvel going, and then that's what got X-Men, that's what got Spider-Man, and then obviously they had to sell out all of their main heroes because the company were in so much trouble. But now it's like, you've got storylines that can come down the line now where you've got like, you do Civil War 2, for example, but you have it like, and it's the actual comic book. You've got the Fantastic Four, you've got the mutants, you've got everything. Like, there's nothing stopping them doing that movie in like 7 or 8 years, like Civil War 2, and everyone would be like, holy shit, like, even do it in like 2026 or something, and it's like 10 years after the release of the original one, and it's just boom, like, here we go, Captain America 5, Civil War 2, but you've got all the heroes in it, like, and that'd just be fucking insane. Like, I just love where we're gonna be, because we just have so much more crossing over. Like, I'm such a fan of crossovers. I really am. Like, I live for it. Like, and that was what like had me so obsessed with the CW at the start, because it was just like, Arrow airs for 2 years and you're like, shit, I love this show, I love these characters, and it's like, hang on a second, they just brought the Flash in out of nowhere and just didn't even mention it. It's like, hey, I'm Barry Allen, I'm from Central City, and everyone's just like, what, the fucking Flash is in this? Like, and then it just expands and expands, and you see him jumping over there, and like the fact now that where we're going to be on like Disney is we're gonna have like Mark Ruffalo showing up in fucking She-Hulk, and then like Hawkeye shows up in the Kate Bishop show, and like, it's just all this now where it's gonna be like back and forth. You're gonna have Deadpool showing up everywhere, which is gonna be amazing. You're gonna have like Punisher showing up in like Daredevil and vice versa and all this shit. Like, it's insane. Like, you've got so much coming that like you've got years of content of just doing all these like one shots like they do in the comic books. Like, you get a 6-series run, like a 6-issue run of like Wolverine and Captain America. Like, here's an idea: you do like a storyline, or maybe it's a what if or something, but like you do something where it's like Wolverine meets Captain America during World War II, and the two of them get on great, and they do like a 6-part series of them during World War II, and that's where you bring Magneto in or something like that. You know what I mean? And you have Xavier's actually, cloaked all the mutants from the rest of existence, but they've actually been there the entire time. So it makes sense to why Magneto actually was around during World War II, and so was Wolverine and all these people, but they were actually in the shadows and they were living their own life, kind of blanketed off from the rest of humanity. And then it just kind of
My thing is more like an age thing. You know,
I'd bring them in as like kind of older characters or something, or I don't know, like
he'd be dead almost. He'd be dead. Like he's just dead, man. It's been a long time.
I don't know,
Not
like,
enough
like,
for
just-
causes.
I don't know. Like, yeah, but maybe
I feel you.
maybe you don't have Magneto in the current time. Like, that's why you have Wanda and you've got like his kids, and they're the ones that are taking over. Like, you know, like we might not get Magneto, you know. And
Yeah.
like that fully makes sense to me. And maybe you get Magneto, but his story takes place in the past, and Wolverine's there, and that's kind of how they intro that. And then it's like, you know, the death of Magneto, but Wolverine lives on, and then he goes and he starts playing with the current generation. But it's
Right.
you know, he's 300 years old now. You know, if you're trying to stick to the comic books, that's how you have to do it, right? Because
I think so, yeah.
as you said,
'cause-
like his story is in World War II, because so you have to have it at that time. You know, I just think like they could beautifully do it. Like you've kind of seen this a bit in like say Far From Home, for example, where they drop Jake Gyllenhaal into Infinity War, and he was there in the background, but we didn't see him and all. You know, like they've kind of done all this type of shit before, where the guy who was like one of Stark's, like, you know, the guy who was like, oh, we can't build this thing, it's impossible, and your man's like, Tony Stark built this in a cave. That guy was working for Mysterio and stuff, like, and I just love the way they kind of pick characters and like just drop them into the current movies. But it's like,
Yeah.
he's been there the whole time, but he's a fucking Z-lister here, we don't give a shit about him. It's like they can easily go back and even like do a sequel to the first Captain America movie, for example, but they bring in new characters, and it's a storyline that actually just happened like straight after that movie, like maybe during the Peggy Carter era, but we didn't see it, and it wasn't important at the time, but the events were incredible. And then you mash it in, you bring Peggy Carter back, and then it's like,
That's
you know,
what I'm kind of saying. Like, that's why I think it's a good indicator for how good Marvel's going to be with the movies.
Yeah.
When like they got to set up scenarios, like how do you tell X-Men stories without Xavier or without Magneto? Like that's going to be we can tell how good they are as writers taking on like a universe when you don't have comic book stories that really like happen. Like you don't have origin stories for the X-Men that happen without Magneto or without Xavier. Like they're just not really there. Like they're so key to they're pillars of that universe, right?
Remind me, what year was, I might need to look this up, but you know, Days of Future Past.
Mm-hmm.
What year is the future? When is the future in that movie? I'm curious, because like, you know,
I think it was
Magneto's
Too far.
Is it like 2030 or something, or is it meant to be longer, or like is it actually?
I think like 2020, because it was written in
Yeah.
the 80s, you know?
Yeah,
It takes place in 2023.
2023.
Yeah.
Okay, so it hasn't. And that's funny actually, because that's where we are now in the MCU, which is actually kind of gas that we're talking about.
Wouldn't-
That, but we are in we are in the future of Days of Future Past.
Yeah, wouldn't that be insane if all of a sudden we get a movie and Sentinels are there?
I think that's coming, bro. That's all coming. Like all those storylines are wide open now, and I think that actually sits beautifully, where you could somehow go back and maybe like, you know, tip the hat to that film by having it as a branch or something like that, and you know, you could travel there, because I know there's all these rumors of Doctor Strange 2 going into that universe and potentially, you know, having a scene with Hugh Jackman. So like, why not put it into he goes to Days of Future Past, because that's where we are currently. Like, that'd be fucking epic, bro.
Right.
would-
Also,
That would blow minds.
Is Cable hanging out during that timeline as well?
Cable,
Is that why he goes back, or is that something
I
else?
think Cable's after Days of Future Past, right?
It's like 2050.
Yeah.
feel like-
Okay,
so.
so it's
So,
even
like
further
Cable and
beyond.
Bishop, like, aren't they like? It's like they lose Days of Future Past, they lose, and then that's like Cable's world after that. I think that could be fucking way wrong. It's been so long.
I thought they win at the very end, don't they? Or do they lose? I actually haven't. That's one of my favorite comic book movies. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I fucking love that film. Days of Future Past was the last great X-Men movie. It was
fantastic.
so good. Like,
Done
just
super
so intelligent how they brought the new cast and the old cast together, and it was beautiful. Like, I loved it so much. It was like that. I remember seeing that movie for the first time, and I was like, holy shit, that's a comic book movie. Like, you know, that was just, it ticked every fucking box. Like, it was just so good.
And Michael Fassbender's portrayal of Magneto in there, so
God.
good,
He's
so amazing.
Such a fantastic actor. And like, that's why, like, part of me would love to see him continue. I don't know how you do that, but I would just love to see him just continue. Like, they pick him out of time, kind of like what they're doing with Alfred Molina. They're just picking him and bringing him to the present, and maybe that's how they do it. Maybe they start picking up a few characters and they pick up Fassbender and just bring him. Like, I don't give a shit how bad that looks on paper. Just fucking do it, because Fassbender is such an amazing actor, and like I love Ian McKellen as the older Magneto. Like, he's a fantastic actor as well, but you know, I just think Fassbender did a better job, which might be an unpopular opinion, but.
He's the reason that like I don't feel like you can't recast anybody. Like how people are like, that's Logan. Yeah. When I saw Ian McKellen as Magneto, I was like, that's fucking Magneto. And then I seen Fassbender, I was like, never mind.
Never mind.
Scratch that.
Yeah.
Scratch that.
I'm like, dude, we could get a better Wolverine. Like Hugh Jackman might not be the penultimate Wolverine. Like there could be someone else out there who plays him better.
There's a lot of
it's just high risk, high reward whenever you do that. It's like there can be another Wolverine, but if you don't nail it, you're gonna tank it. It's either you're hitting the jackpot or you're going bankrupt. There's no in between.
There's a lot of people out there that don't like Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. Like, they like him as an actor. They think he's a fantastic actor, but he's not Logan. He's not the comic book version. Like, comic book version of Logan looks more like Tom Hardy. Like, he's stocky and short and wide and just a fucking
on the Tom Hardy train.
A maniac. Like, you know, I definitely don't want Tom Hardy to blame. I like the guy from Kingsman, who's like kind of the number one pick right now. Tegan something or other is his name.
He's not the number one pick.
I think he is.
Tom Hardy is.
No, he's definitely not. He's definitely not, bro.
Tegan is small as fuck.
Yeah, but you put him in the gym, you get him on TRT and stuff. He'll take it out, like, for sure.
You put him on TRT. That's a requirement for the Logan role. You have to take testosterone.
Yeah,
this is why.
If you think there's any male actor in the MCU right now that's like stocky and not on steroids, you're insane. Like, look at fucking Look at Chris Hemsworth. Like, the guy is absolutely yoked. Like, it's insane. His arms need their own passports to get back into Australia.
You seen Captain Marvel? She's fucking jacked, bro.
She's jacked.
Well, look at Natalie Portman. Natalie Portman's got like.
Natalie Portman's on TRT.
She definitely is.
Yo, they gotta get these actresses on these workout routines too, man. Like, this goes back to like Wonder Woman, bro. Like, remember when we seen Wonder Woman and then like every other Amazonian looked like they're Wonder Woman except for her?
Yeah, like they actually got CrossFitters. They got CrossFitters to play all of them. All the Amazons were actual CrossFitters. Like they were like
crazy.
They were proper
the female
athletes.
300 right there. They were yoked.
Captain Marvel should get on that fucking CrossFit shit and get like fucking shredded.
Yeah, I just think though she doesn't need to though. You know, her character, like, you know, she's been enforced with, like, you know, been infused with the power, and she can kind of just do whatever she wants. Like, you know, she doesn't actually need the actual strength, because her powers were all given to her.
Encompasses like thunder. He's still jacked. I don't know.
I'd love to see it, man. I love seeing women like jacked. Like, I think it's amazing. Like, you know, so I'm all on board. Like, I love how Wonder Woman is drawn in the comic books. Like, she's a fucking beast. Like, you know, that's amazing. Like, you know. So yeah,
I love seeing people who don't look like me. That's why I like, you know, the Chris Hemsworths of the world. I'm like, I could never do that. Let me go watch that shit. Fuck yeah. Like, I'll never be huge like that. Thank you.
You can, Drunky. I believe in you. You'll be the next Hemsworth.
Yeah, dude, flattery, it'll get you everywhere with me. Okay.
I know.
Listen, they had dad bod Chris Hemsworth. There is a chance.
Anything's possible.
I'm still worthy. Thank you.
I'm worthy. Druggy, I see the hammer behind you. Lift it up. Lift it up right now and prove to yourself.
Yeah, just a little nudge out.
Hey, that was more than Rogers did the first time he tried to lift it.
Yeah,
but he didn't try. He didn't try.
A little bit.
Here's a little beautiful detail I saw from the episode. I don't know if people picked up on it, but you know, when there was the mention of Ragnarok, did you notice like all the kind of 80s style synth music just came in? Like, it was kind of like it was like the 80s style shit. Like, you heard it just kind of like just building up in the background.
Violin too. Woo!
Oh bro, that was fucking beautiful. Like I was just
People pointing out the name on the sheet about who caused the cataclysm or whatever.
Yeah, the Revengers.
Revengers, yeah. That's what's beautiful. Like again, it's little tiny details like that that are just fucking stunning.
Another
bro.
thing, another little detail where they're setting up the TVA to be bad guys. I don't know if you guys, obviously everybody caught it, but when they first get to the Rocks Cart place and that one TVA agent like pushes that guy who's like that old guy who's like, oh, if you guys got a chopper, you should get out. We got women and children. He's like, they're scared. He's like, they should be scared. They're about to die. He's like, yeah, but not of us. Like that little, they're weaving in little threads that like TVA are assholes.
At the same
but can robots be assholes?
At the same time, though, right? Yes. Let me paint a picture.
Be heartless.
Let me paint a picture for you, though, right? You know, I think, like, you know, the first time you probably see a civilization get wiped out, you're kind of, like, sympathetic and stuff. But these guys' jobs are cleaning up timelines for, like, eternity by the sounds of it. So, like, how desensitized would you be doing the same thing for 100 years or whatever it is? Like, you know, I think, like, you know, you do the same thing 20 times in a row, like, you're desensitized to it. So I just think, like, you know, it's like these guys are, like, pushing people out of the way, and it's kind of like, just like, yeah, just fucking listen to us because we know what the fuck we're talking
got a great attitude. Casey's got a great
social
attitude.
Commentary on the current times.
Casey's a full-on paper pusher.
Yeah,
Mobius
exactly.
is a paper pusher, but like
he's never
also
been outside,
an
bro. He's a fucking dreamer. Like he's never been outside. Like
is my hero, and you guys need to watch the way you talk about him. Okay,
guys. I mean, I'll be back in 1 second.
They're
okay?
messing with them.
Keep talking.
All right.
Yeah. But what you're saying, can robots be assholes? They can be assholes because
they have assholes.
They don't have assholes, but they can be assholes.
They do
because
they have an exhaust.
They just follow their directive. So if their directive comes from an asshole, then they're assholes.
I'll do you one better, Cat. What are assholes?
Who are assholes?
Why are assholes?
I'll do you one better. Why are assholes?
These are the questions I love that life settles around.
Yeah, but I love this scene with Ragnarok in general when Loki suggests that he's gonna push Hulk off the Rainbow Bridge because he still hasn't gotten over getting smashed in the Stark building.
I thought
like that was yesterday for him.
He's like, I could. I love that whole scene, the way he's acting too. He's like, I could push the Hulk off the bridge, and he's got the salt. I was like, no, this is not a metaphor. That's my lunch. I want to eat that.
I thought that scene went out a little too long. I didn't think it was as funny as they thought.
I loved it when he went back to doing it. Nick Casey was there. I'm having a good time.
I think they just wanted it. They just wanted to showcase like the '90s and like discontinued drinks that were there.
Yeah.
I love how the one can of Shasta's already like he's already drank that whole can. He's on can 2, buddy.
There was a video I watched that was very noticeable about how Loki's starting to break Owen Wilson down and break his reality down when he was talking about his beliefs or whatever. And then they pointed out the cafeteria scene, how at the beginning of that scene, they had a shot where they saw a picture like no chit chat in the cafeteria. And then Loki starts talking in the cafeteria where everyone else is quiet. And then they go back to that later where now that's just where they're having their conversations in the cafeteria. So it's like showing how Loki's starting to break Owen Wilson's characters out of his own reality, making him maybe start to question things as overall. I don't know. I thought it was like very interesting just how much the TVA, how much propaganda they have in there, you know, like really stay on the path, everyone. Don't talk to other people. Don't think about this.
Little 1984 vibe kind of just lingering in the background there.
Now, I just want to add to Kyle's like speculation that they're robots. I know they're extras, but during the moment with the like the salt and everything, like nobody like looked over and was like, "What the hell is going on?" Everyone was just like, "Just eating my food, just keep just like nothing."
It's kind of
I don't know. It's that librarian type lady that really just settled it in for me. It's like she is programmed. She looked at him, instantly knew who he was, like with no. You know, obviously it's got to be like the first time they see each other. She is only reacting to her job, which is, and like Casey's line in the first one, he's like, well, I've lived behind a desk my whole life. And someone was like, well, they might have living quarters. No one ever said they have living quarters. They said they have offices, and everything you see in the background could also just be offices, and they could literally be at that desk all day, and they have breaks and stuff, but like, you know... That's the only hole in my theory so far is that Casey was in there on the break and that they're eating.
Yeah.
But Mobius and certain analysts could be special.
I really think that, the whole idea that they're variants makes a lot of sense, because I think that like each of these people have just been like kind of grabbed from a time, and they live in the TVA, which is, probably in the quantum realm, which would make a lot of sense because, as we know, it's all connected. And then, time just doesn't exist down there. Like Owen Wilson said, time just doesn't exist here. So, like, I wouldn't be surprised if he's pulled from the 90s or something, and, like, he remembers wanting to get a jet ski, but he doesn't remember much else, because for him, he's been only there for probably like 10 years or something like that. But for him, like, that's been like 100 years his time. So he's just lost. He has no memory of his previous life. All he can kind of remember is wanting a jet ski. And I think there's actually a detail in the episode that New Rockstars picked up on, that on his desk, one of the it's just like a jet ski magazine that he has, and it's called like Woke or Wake or something like that. Like, it's kind of like, you're in a dream, bro. You're in a you're in a simulation. And it kind of makes sense as well with this whole Rick and Morty kind of writers and stuff, where like, they love kind of talking about all this, like, it's like those episodes, where they have the reality within a reality and all this shit, and there's robots and stuff, and like, it's just, everyone's just scripted to do a specific thing, and if they start going out of line, they start glitching and stuff like that. So I truly believe that we could see all of that, and that really does make sense. It's just hard to tell. It's hard to tell if they're just being picked from time, or if they are actually not even human. Like, it would kind of make sense, because that's where the Eternals is going, right? They're all kind of the whole Android thing.
Them being robots also goes against my idea that, like, we kind of need them to have stakes to go against the TVA, if that's what's going to happen. Like, it kind of feels like they're setting it up to have the agents turn against, the timekeepers, because, like Drunky was saying, or I think Mex might have even been saying, like, the agents they were trying to get all the agents out of that to do, like, a night at the museum heist at the TVA. So I think they're trying to set it up that the agents are going to go against the timekeepers.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was Drunky or Alex that mentioned that, like they were trying to clear the room before they went into the TVA, and then that's when I mentioned that they're teaming up to go against the timekeepers, or at least to go talk to them.
I think that I don't, because they're not going to be able to explore all these other universe or timelines that they broke, right? But I could be wrong, because I did see the trailer for next week, and they don't seem like they seem like they're in a couple of different places.
Oh, yeah, we can watch that. Do you want to watch that?
Yeah. I better get the theater scene this time. I didn't get the theater scene last time, and I want popcorn.
Popcorn only, of course.
Before we do that, I do think I have to dip out of the podcast for the rest of it. I got to be somewhere at like 7:30.
That's no problem.
Hey, I hope you have a fantastic night, sir.
Apologies, I wish I could have stuck it out, but it just kind of came down.
Don't worry about it, dude. It'll be, if you want to catch the rest of it, it'll be up on YouTube, of course. So.
Oh, I'll be checking out the YouTube.
Hell yeah.
I'll be timestamping you guys, calling out your takes. All right, you guys have a good rest of the night. Thanks for having me on. But goodbye, Finto and chat and the cast. Later, chat.
Marvelous show.
Take care, buddy.
You marvelous bastard. See you later.
What a marvelous chat.
Yeah, let's throw up this trailer. Hang on a second.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sorry. Changing scene. Get the popcorn, guys.
Popcorn.
Here we go.
What did you expect? You better be ready. Cheers to me. You put our timeline in chaos. I want you to help us fix it. What could possibly go wrong?
Trusting Loki is not a good idea. A cosmic mistake.
Bye. Regional series streaming this Wednesday.
I wonder, is there just one more footage? Sorry, let me just play another one real quick. Oh, no. Don't want to see that.
That one seemed to have a lot more reused.
Yeah, that one seemed like to have a good bit of shit that's reused. And let's try this one.
You're in a lot of trouble. You want to get out of here, right? What if I can offer you a chance? And what does my chance require? Someone's changing the proper flow of time. You're here to help me catch this guy. Who is it? Someone very familiar. You gotta be kidding me. What did you expect? You'd better be ready. Cheers to me.
Yeah, I think all we're getting this next episode is what did you expect scene? That's the only thing we've seen.
How nice to meet you. Just when you thought you'd seen the last of the MCU's most devilishly handsome
And debonair character.
Loki, a superior character, more powerful than all of the Avengers put together.
Put together. I mean, okay,
This seems a little bit much, right?
who wrote that?
Yes, I love that dude. That's fucking fantastic. Cause like he had like he had such a fucking influence in the making of the show and stuff. Like he's even down as an EP in it, so that's crazy. I'm very interested by what Owen Wilson says when it's like you're responsible for putting our timeline in chaos, and it's like my understanding of where we are right now is it's not actually like the Loki that we're following. It's not his fault. Like he didn't fucking do it. It's somebody else. So like why is Owen Wilson saying that? I think like I think something else is gonna happen.
Well, they have to obviously both Lokis are together right now, so next episode obviously Morbius is going to catch up to them at some point, so that could just be from him catching up to him originally, and Loki maybe will be going back to the TVA side. I don't know, but I feel like this next episode we're really going to see the direction of this show. Either I'm wondering if they're going to show like other variations of Loki still now that we have
like the way we saw that one where he's like looks like he's like in some sort of an election or something.
I feel like that's our Loki. I don't feel like that's a different variation. I feel like that what did you expect is him kind of talking to them like, hey, what'd you expect? I'm Loki. This is why I escaped you guys.
I've always kind of thought that because I think I had heard I don't know if this was an official kind of thing or if it was a prediction or a rumor, but I heard that there was going to be a different Loki in every episode, and so far technically that has been correct because we have our Loki in episode 1, and then episode 2 we're introduced to kind of Lady Loki, and then episode 3 maybe we might get like a kind of political Loki, and then 4 we get another one again. That kind of makes sense, and I would love for that to be the scenario because I want to see Tom Hiddleston, like I want to see him even get more rangy. I want to see him like
I want to see one of these obscure Lokis, like the monster or alien ones.
Yeah, or the one that's a frost giant. Like there's a blue one, and he's just a frost giant the whole time. Like so. And
that looks like a jester.
Yeah. Like I'm into all that shit. Like like I love like. DC did it in one of their shows where they kind of did it badly, but they did it with like one of the main characters, Harrison Wells. They kind of did a Council of Wells, and they had him just playing different characters every season, but just different variants of himself. And it's just really funny. Like if you get an actor that can do it well, you genuinely believe he's different people. And I think the CW didn't do it too well, but like like Rick and Morty again, to go back to Rick and Morty do it again, like in their like the Council of Ricks and stuff like that. So I think if you have like a council of Lokis and there's all these different Lokis playing off each other, like that shit will pop.
Loki's Mind Blowers is going to be the next episode.
Yeah. I love it.
So speaking of going more into depth variants, Finto, have you seen any leaks or rumors about other characters being variants?
I have just heard the kind of theories about Morbius being a variant himself, and that's why there's so many different there's so many different cup stains on the table and stuff, because there's been just different variants of him and they're all kind of working together, but they're all oblivious of each other. Like that's why she's saying I've got another agent working on this, and it's actually just another variant of him, which makes sense.
So I think I remember there was a rumor or a leak. I think a toy was leaked.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's going to be Throg.
Yes, I did hear about this. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did, yeah.
So I was wondering if you had heard about that.
I had, yeah. Sorry, I heard about the toy leak. It's like a frog version of Thor, right? It's like a frog animal version of Thor, and I did hear about this.
About that, please.
It's gonna be like Spider-Ham. So.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I did hear about this, and I think it's like, you always hear these kind of like throwbacks to when they're growing up, and he's like, oh, the time like when Loki turned me into a snake and stuff, and like I just think like there's gonna be a version of Thor where he gets changed into a frog, and it's like he never gets released. Like, that Loki just won't release him. Like, so you've got like a frog Thor.
Is there? Do you think Hela, was she killed?
Apparently not.
Ragnarok? Yeah, because I'm wondering if I kind of want her to make an appearance in this show.
Well, I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about how, if this is Lady Loki, like they kind of did a shitty job. Like, why didn't they get an actress or like dye her hair black and have her hair kind of greasy like Thor, like Loki's? And in the comic books, like she just looks like Loki but a female version of it, and it would kind of make more sense to the whole gender fluidity that she kind of just looks like Loki but with shorter hair or whatever. And someone said that, like, picture Hela but wearing like the Loki horns and stuff like that, and they're like, shit, like, Kate Blanchett looks like Loki, like, and it's just that kind of further makes me think that we're not dealing with the actual Lady Loki, and I think maybe that's yet to come.
Yeah, that blonde is a really, for her to be Loki and it to be blonde, like that's such a why wouldn't they have an actress with black hair dye her hair black? Like, I feel like that's a conscious decision.
Yeah. Like that kind of leans it more towards that it is actually Enchantress and it's not actually Lady Loki, and maybe we are yet to see Lady Loki, because they did make the whole point of the whole gender fluidity. So I really think that we're going to see an actual female version of Loki. But again, I think you'll get into episode 4 or 5, and it'll just be the actual Lady Loki.
That's brilliant for them to let us think, oh, well, here's the Lady Loki we heard about, and then to actually like mind blow us later on and be like, nah, that actually wasn't your Lady Loki. This is the Lady Loki pulling the strings.
I mentioned something about Lady Loki, and like my girlfriend was like really pissed off when the reveal happened, because she's like, oh, I just kind of knew it was coming out because you were talking about it. And like I just kind of like I just went to her, well, actually it might not be her. And then I was like, you're back in the mystery. So now it's up in the air again, because it looks like it might actually be it might not be Lady Loki now.
So are you just not liking this because of the whole multiverse aspect that you
First
just?
Of all, I do like it. I do like it.
I think
I do like it, but I don't understand it quite yet.
Yeah, I think my impression is Anders is like a don't take offense to this, but Anders is just a normie fan when it comes to this show. You're sitting back and you're just watching it all unfold. You've got the popcorn there. You're not even thinking about it. It's just like you're strapped in, autopilot's on. Let's fucking enjoy it. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
That's
and I Google
great.
Character as I go.
I feel like that's the mentally safe way to watch this
100%.
Because if you start you start diving into it, and you literally will be laying there at night, and then you'll just be like, "Oh, but what if?"
Yeah,
like
after every show, we've been talking about how much we rate it, and everyone who has been like super, I mean, like you guys, you've been rating it low, and I've been loving him. I've been like giving him the highest grades ever, so I feel like I'm in the safe boat here when it comes to liking the show.
Definitely. I think you're definitely just embracing it all and just letting it fly, letting it sit where it sits. I can't do that, especially since we started doing this. Like, I feel like I want to have as much information as possible when we're talking about this. And like, I love deep dive and stuff like this. Like, this is what I do. Like, I'd be watching all these theory videos and stuff, even if we weren't doing this. Like, this is why, like, Anders, you came to me with the idea to do this. Like, it's like, this wasn't my idea. I ran away with it, but it was Anders' idea who came up with it first of all. He said to me, would you like to do a call after an episode of WandaVision and just talk about it? And I was like, fuck it, let's just stream it. Let's do it. Let's just go live with it, And that's where it came from, and we just went with it from there. So like, I'm all about this, like, and like, even, I want to talk about Star Wars. I want to talk about DC. Like, I got so much shit to talk about, but yeah, I just love all this, like, and like, I would consider myself a normie myself for a lot of the stuff that's coming up. I know nothing about Eternals. I know nothing about Shang-Chi, and I want to keep it that way. I want to actually experience it like Anders. I just want to be just blind. I want to go in first time. I just want to sit back, and I just want to watch it, and I just want to see. Let's just see where the fuck this goes. You know,
Anders is like our TVA employee.
Exactly.
Very straightforward.
Yeah.
What's a fish?
What's a fish?
Yo, I'll show you a fish.
Yeah. He's like, what do you
Don't
mean?
get me
How
started.
do you not know what a fish is? He's like, well, I want to know what it is when I'm being threatened with before I comply or not.
Don't get me started on fish. They don't even know, Alex. They don't know.
So good, bro. So good. Yeah, I kind of like any notes that I had, we've kind of talked about already. I like the idea of potentially that, like, it's an old man like Loki that's pulling the strings, you know? It's, you know, a Loki from the end of time that has lived it all, and he's just kind of sick. He doesn't, like, maybe he's aware of the resets, and he's like, fuck this, you know, I'm taking over, I want to do this, you know? This is going to be my reset to take over. And I thought that's, like, pretty interesting. I think that'd be a really cool story.
Is there any other news anybody heard for anything else outside of Loki this past week?
What'd you say?
Did you guys hear any news outside of Loki this past week?
I have so much fucking news. So much news.
I'm just gonna put this out there now. I'm excited for Guardians of the Galaxy. I think it's going to be good. I think they're gonna take all of the bad that they got from Avengers and like not do that with this game, because it's gonna be single player.
Oh, you're talking about the game? I thought you were talking about the next movie.
Yeah. No.
Yeah,
the game looks good because while we're on the subject, and while I'm still here because I have to get off soon too. I think it's gonna be good. It's single player. There's gonna be no multiplayer, no marketplace, and I think it's also gonna be tied into the same universe as the Avengers too. So I think it'll be something pretty cool to see and see. Where
I hope you're right.
That.
Did you see?
I hope you're right, buddy. Because like I would love to see more.
The what?
Did you see the Black Panther DLC trailer?
Oh yeah, that looks good too.
Like, I love it. I love his movement and all. It looks insanely fun to play as him.
They're introducing new biomes, like all that shit. Like I'm getting excited to see. Like I'm hoping that they're gonna connect this game with the Avengers game and kind of like do like the.
Where the fuck is Spider-Man?
I don't think Spider-Man's coming to like next year. I'm calling it. Watch, like next year.
Wasn't the original plan that when the PS5 launched, you were going to get Spider-Man in on the PS5 for that game, and it was going to be a Sony exclusive? Because I remember buying that game and I was like, shit, I'm pissed off now because it's like I have actually just got it on PlayStation so that I could play as Peter, and I'm just like, nah, fuck it. Like, you know, I've played as him enough. I want to play as different characters, so I said, fuck it, I'll go with PC, but. It definitely looks better, but I think that trailer that they released like needs a lot of work, and it scares me to think that game is going to be released in October, and it looks like it needs 2 more years of dev. Like, so that kind of freaks me out.
I wouldn't be surprised seeing a delay for sure.
Yeah.
I'm hoping for it.
I don't think it comes out this October. And if it does come out this October, it's going to be as buggy as fucking Avengers, if not worse. It's going to look like shit because, like, you know, you got to think, like, these guys are launching a trailer for this at E3, right? They got to put forward the absolute best of their work, and that's what we got. That's the way I kind of watched that trailer. I was like, this is the best that you can do right now. And I'm like, okay, when I'm watching that trailer, I'm like, okay, cool, it's a concept. It's going to be like 2024 or something. Like, they maybe try to release it in time with the next movie or something. But then I saw fucking October 26, 2021. I'm like, holy shit, bro, this game is not ready. Like, you know, that's scary. And like with the mistakes of that Avengers game, I'm like, Jesus, this is a gamble, big time.
There is news that I saw is Sony Pictures, like on their Instagram and stuff, have been like putting like teasers. Like they put like a cross sign, like basically like the circle with the line through the middle.
Yeah. And
then they put like a map and then a house, like No Way Home. So people thinking like they're teasing that they're going to be releasing the actual trailer soon.
Oh yeah. Oh Jesus. I mean, like this is one of the, I didn't really want to touch on it because, like, you know, everyone thinks I'm just too obsessed with Spider-Man, but
well, that's me too. Like I had to do so much studying with like all the new shows and stuff that were coming out because I'm just a Spider-Man fanboy. Like when we talk about Spider-Man, I can go off the fucking charts.
Yeah,
you know. But all this other shit, I know nothing about it. So I'm like sitting here like, all right, like watching videos of theories and like, oh, like top 10 facts about this character, so I can know of what I know like about them and like what I can talk about.
Did you
'Cause I
see
don't know
the
shit?
Did you
about
see the
anything.
Did you see the latest Sony fuck up with the promos? They released, I think it was like Sony Brazil and Sony
With
Spain.
like
Yeah.
with like the
The
glitching
logo?
name.
They put
The glitching, yeah.
yeah. So it's like, did they just confirm the fucking Spider Verse and like, cause like they have the glitching logo and
Oh, I saw that.
it looked
Well,
like
not even
it
the
looked like they
logo.
were
They
like,
said
it's
they
like,
had a poster that said like all three. It said something like translated to all three Spider-Man or like
you won't need to
which
pick. You
one's
won't
your
need to
favorite?
pick your
Yeah,
favorite.
yeah.
Yeah.
You won't need to pick.
Yeah. Like it's like, you know, it's the like, you know, it's being dubbed as the worst kept secret in Hollywood. Like, you know, everyone knows that
It's
Toby and Andrew are going to be in it.
Tom,
Like,
I bet Tom's in the background like it's not my fault.
yeah, he's like,
yeah.
I didn't fuck this one up. Like, he's so happy. Yeah, like seriously, like it's the worst kept secret in Hollywood. Like the second they bring back like Ottawa, or like the second they bring back like Doc Ock and stuff, like you're just like, why would they bring him back and not bring Toby back? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And then the fact that like Toby is like rumored to be in maybe like the end credit scene, and then it's like, you know, it goes on to Doctor Strange 2, which is being directed by Sam fucking Raimi. Like, you know, it's like him and Tobey Maguire are like brothers. Like, it's just like, you know, like why wouldn't he be in that movie? Like, you know, I don't know. I don't understand how people don't know that it's the Spider-Verse coming. Like, it just doesn't make any sense how people don't think that it's coming. That's what I really struggle with. Like, you know.
No, and also just to reiterate, so you know how like you guys were saying how the Lady Loki doesn't look similar to Loki. So when you go back to like Into the Spider-Verse, there's two Peter Parkers, but one is with the blonde hair and one is with brown hair. So why is it so hard to accept that there's a Loki with black hair and the Loki with blonde hair?
I just think that the hair is just one aspect of it. Like, you know, you've got the broken horns, you've got the whole Enchantress story, you've got the name. Like, it's just the fact that she doesn't have black hair is just like one more bullet point to the fact that it's not her. You know what I mean? It's not the sole thing. Like, it's not the sole reason why it's not. Like, the hair wouldn't be the only reason. Yeah. Like, the fact like you've got her credited as being your one Sylvia or whatever her name is, and you know,
so you feel like it's information, it's not so much insulting, it's just more so information.
Yeah. I think in my opinion that they kind of know that these people are doing the things like how Finto had the video or that TikTok where they paused and they literally pointed out where all these charges went. They know that people are deep diving into this, and I think that's why this show is so good to me, because they're so acutely aware of their visuals, whether it's CGI. I feel like everything. And my feeling with this show, more so than the other two, is everything has a purpose almost. Like, everything that you see in the show has been placed there specifically. So, like, something like that, it could just, like you said, be a non-factor at all. But it's something that I think they've shrouded this character in mystery. And it also kind of leans into the idea that they could have a double reveal, an actual another female Loki, you know, which would be. I'm kind of like I kind of am biased because I want that, and it leads me to.
They're so.
Feed into it, like, yeah.
They're so like, it's such a common misdirect like that. I think, like, you know, while it's obvious, it's not obvious at the same time, if that makes sense. Like, you know, it kind of like sounds like they're not going to do it, but then it's like when they do it, you're like, oh yeah, of course they were going to do that, you know. Do you want to see the new Rockstar's breakdown of like every single location and the year and everything? Like, he just goes into such amazing detail on it, like it's insane. Let me just see if I can find it. I think it's around the 18-minute mark. Sometimes I'm watching these things and I'm like, oh shit, yeah. I gotta show the guys.
Oh yeah, if it's 18 minutes and I gotta go now, I'll just get out of here now then.
No, it's not 18 minutes. I'm skipping to 18 minutes. Sorry, I'm not.
Okay.
It's not.
18 minutes. I was like, I can't watch
No.
this.
I'm not going to play the whole thing. I'm just
Okay.
I'm time stamping in my mind.
Okay.
We'll go to the theater. Hang on a sec. Oops, wrong button. Throwing hype in my chat for no reason. Check this out. So he's gonna first of all he's gonna talk about Lady Loki a little bit, and then he's gonna move into the breakdown of all of the timelines. So this is like, I respect the shit out of this guy so much. Like when I thought that I go deep, this guy is balls
Randy,
deep.
and then finally to this Haas. And like
Finto, you got your camera in the seats, and I love it.
Yeah. I'm chilling in the back row.
That rattled her to her core. C20 reveals that she told Lady Loki where the timekeepers are, meaning that they are probably the true target of this sacred timeline bombing. And finally, the villain reveals her face. What is this about?
This isn't about you.
So it is confirmed. Sophia DiMartino is playing a female Loki variant, most likely Lady Loki. Now in the comics, Lady Loki is not really an alternate timeline variant, but Loki's disembodied soul after Ragnarok reincarnated into a female body. However, that still might be the case here, since this Loki can transfer her soul into new bodies. She may just be a human female that Loki's soul decided to stay in. But also notice that one of the horns on her crown is broken off. Could be a nod to Loki's look in Agent of Asgard, or a reflection of how she might not consider herself a true Loki, the way she told Loki not to call her that. She may be someone with a Loki-style curse, but go by Sylvie. Also, she might be telepathic, because as she reveals herself, listen closely. You can hear Tom Hiddleston's voice echoing in that. What is this about?
This isn't about you.
Yeah, making her words here a response to Loki's thoughts. So using stolen reset charges and stolen TemPads, she bombs the sacred timeline, creating branches throughout time and space. Renslayer's screen actually shows a lot of the dates and locations. We gotta break these down. Actually, first in the Chrome Monitor room, you can see Nowhere, that's a severed celestial head location in Guardians of the Galaxy, and then Barcelona, and then below, Niflheim, that's the Asgardian realm that Hela was believed to be exiled in, and then Dartford, England, but then onto Renslayer's screen,
is scary,
August 3rd, 1522, Phang Nga, Vietnam, March 31st, 1492, Lisbon, Portugal, perhaps something related to Columbus's Atlantic voyage that year, April 23rd, 2301, Vormir. Vormir's resting place of the Soul Stone, seen in Infinity War and Endgame. April 23rd was Infinity War's release date in 2018. October 25th, 1551, Thornton, Colorado, November 22nd, 1999, Cookeville, Tennessee, and then February 16th, 2004, Asgard. So the home of Loki and Thor, 8 years or so prior to the events of the first Thor film. October 3rd, 1390, Rome, Italy. I'm assuming some kind of Vatican drama there. August 13th, 1984, Sakaar, Teo. So again, Sakaar from Thor Ragnarok. Teo is the name of its star system. 1984 could have been during the reign of one of those past arena champions that we saw on the outside of the building. February 2nd, 1808, Barikara, Colombia. July 17th, 1700, Porvoo, Finland. December 17th, 1382, Ego, as in Ego the Living Planet, showing that, yeah, this guy was planting seeds around the galaxy for over 700 years before he met Peter's mother. October 13th, 1982, Titan. Titan, of course, the planet Thanos grew up on, the ruins of which he fought the Avengers upon in Infinity War. 1982 could have been around when Titan came upon
did the internet go for a sec?
Set Thanos on his mission. September 21st, 1947, New York, New York. I was thinking Cap's return date in Endgame, but I think that was confirmed to be 1948.
Here, sorry,
March 1st.
Did you guys miss much?
1980. Titan, of course, the.
No, it just read it and continued.
Okay.
It picked right back up.
Did you? Okay, sorry.
The Avengers upon an Infinity War. 1982 could have been around when Titan came upon environmental ruin that set Thanos on his mission. September 21st, 1947, New York, New York. I was thinking Cap's return date in Endgame, but I think that was confirmed to be 1948. March 1st, 1984, Tokyo. January 3rd, 51 AD, Hala. Hala is the Kree homeworld seen in Captain Marvel. They reached peak evolution years before humanity did, so this could be right in the midst of their advanced race. History. August 2nd, 1999, Kingsport, Tennessee. September 24th, 1001, Xandar. Now, Xandar is the home to the Nova Corps seen in Guardians of the Galaxy. November 23rd, 2005, Beijing. July 18th, 1903, Madrid. And then, above the time doors, you can also see Portland in 2004 and Jotunheim. Jotunheim is Loki's home realm, land of the Frost Giants. Now, I plan to dig more into each of these dates and locations because I think Lady Loki might have targeted each of these specifically to alter history. So I'll be digging into that in a separate video coming out tomorrow. We end with Renslayer grabbing her staff, likely realizing that the variant's real plan is to flush out TVA agents, leaving it undefended so that she can get to the Timekeepers. And that's probably where Lady Loki is headed now, with Loki close behind, either to stop her or to join her, but in either case, not according to the script of the Sacred Timeline. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at EAVoss.
Go follow him. Honestly, I love that dude so much. I've never seen someone go into such fucking detail in my life. Like, can you, like, honestly,
Brilliant.
like, just... It's insane to think that, like, that is all, like, out there, and, like, when you're just sitting back and watching the episode and not even thinking about it, you just miss everything, you know?
Oh yeah,
It's
that's
insane.
why I feel like everything's with the purpose in the show, and
Oh, yeah.
this next episode is just gonna. We keep saying that every week, and it keeps being true, and I hope it stays that way. But this next episode's gonna be a banger.
I think as the, like, creator of the show had said, it's like the second half, like the back half of the series is where it gets fucking wonky. Like it gets.
It's the back. It's only a 6-episode series, and like I just want.
Yeah.
I can already tell I want more.
Like you're seeing, and I think this show. I think they were saying this show could be the one that gets a season 2. Like most of them are going to be one shots, as Kevin Feige said, but this show could lead on to a second series, and that kind of makes me happy and kind of sad in a same way, because I think if this continues in this format, I think that kind of confirms that Loki may not come back to the movie universe or that timeline. I think he might just be caught out of time, and if we want to continue seeing like a Loki story, we have to stay in the TVA, and I just don't think he can go home. So I like the idea, but I kind of hate it at the same time as well, because I just love the character and I just want to see more. Like, I want to see him return. I want to see all this happen, and I think it's beautiful, but at the same time, I would love to see him show up in Love and Thunder, and it's like, hey, I wasn't dead. I got some crazy stories to tell you. Like, you know, you won't believe where I was.
You never
I feel
know.
like, yeah, I feel like with the destruction of the sacred timeline, he's more than welcome to like probably go back, just further beyond after he died.
Yeah. Or go back to before it happened, and then it's like, because didn't they kind of technically erase that timeline when they went back in time, and then like they killed Thanos in 2014 or whatever? Or was it? No, sorry, I can't. No, his version of 2014 comes back. Sorry, I get confused with it sometimes. So the Thanos that killed Loki technically is from he's like 8 years past the version that actually dies at the end, because the version that dies at the end is actually traveling back in time. It's fucking crazy. But yeah, that's what happens. So the version that killed Loki, he hadn't actually killed him yet. You know? Because he didn't get the stones. The first time he gets the stones, like, he never does the click or anything. So it's kind of crazy.
It's gonna get crazy.
It is. It's wonky, bro. It's nuts. Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, that's it for me. I gotta go get ready for work.
Oh, Max, just before you go, one quick second. I heard some crazy Spider-Man news that I want to drop on you before you go. So,
talk it to me.
Apparently, it's rumored that Chameleon is going to be in Spider-Man 3, right? But it's rumored that he has already been in Spider-Man, because obviously he's like a shapeshifter, right? So he is the half-brother. I didn't know this. He's the half-brother of Kraven, the Hunter. So the whole Kraven story is going to happen over on Sony with your man who played Quicksilver. Chameleon is going to be apparently in that movie as well, so he's going to cross over. But at the same time, it's confirmed that he was actually already in Far From Home, and he's going to be in Spider-Man 3 as well. So, you know, it's like, it'll be revealed later on, I believe, but at the same time, it's like, you've sat and watched that movie, and Chameleon's been in it already, but you didn't notice him. Which is wild. It's the whole the whole scroll thing again. Man. Like, you know, it's the easy kind of cop out. You know, you just haven't beat somebody. The rumor is that he's the bus driver that was working for Stark in Far From Home. You know, the guy with the beard who was working for Shield. Yeah. It's rumored that that's who it is, but I don't know if that's actually true or not.
Oh wow!
Wild stories though. And
you gotta send me all these links, dude. Like in like Discord or something. Like whenever you see this shit, like send me these articles and stuff too.
Yeah, I will.
I want to read them, watch the videos.
I usually post a lot of stuff in the Marvelous chat stuff, or if I send a lot of stuff in DMs on TikTok and stuff as well. Like,
can you like? I think you can. Like, you can individually like put notifications on certain channels, right?
I think you need to go and follow it, so you can go and follow the channel, so that when stuff gets put in, you get the notification. I don't think it's set up on my end. I think it's set up on yours, as far as I know.
Okay.
But yeah, I think you can go into the Marvelous chats or whatever, and then just follow that or turn on notifications just for that channel, as far as I know.
Yeah, because I got to do that because I turned off notifications a long time ago because it used to give me like a notification for anything that got posted in Discord. And I was like, oh no, I was like, let's go ahead and get that out of here.
Oh, well, like when you're on like 30 servers as well, like it's crazy. Like
that's exactly what it is. I'm like in like 15 or 20 servers for sure.
I got mine to mentions only, so I'll see the add everyone's and that's about it. You know?
Yeah, me too. Yeah, that's what I get now. It's just add everyone's.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it, I think. Yeah, so that's cool. kind of
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen,
Wanda is to confirm to be back after Doctor Strange 2.
I'm out of here.
Later.
Later, Max.
Later, guys. Later.
Thanks for being here, dude.
Bye. Yeah, thanks for having me, man. Felt good to be back.
Bye. Appreciate you.
Yeah, I saw they kind of confirmed that Wanda will be featured in other stuff bar Doctor Strange 2. So it's confirmed now. People are speculating, will she show up in Spider-Man 3? Because that kind of goes directly on to Doctor Strange 2. Or, you know, people are saying that there could potentially be another storyline, kind of like a WandaVision Part 2. Which I think kind of makes sense if you think about it, because there's a lot of story there that's unanswered. And it's story that, like, I don't really want to watch in a different movie, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not really interested, like... Sorry, don't get me wrong. I'm very much interested in like White Vision and stuff like that, but I don't want to see it as like a 10-minute like scene in the middle of a Captain America movie or a 10-minute scene in the middle of a fucking Spider-Man movie or something like that. You know? Exactly. I think like, you know, give it another 4, 5, 6 episodes and go into detail. Like, where did Vision go? What's he doing? What's Wanda doing? How's the fucking book going? Like, where's Ghost Rider? You know, like all this sort of shit. Like, yeah, for sure, 100%.
God, so I want a reboot of Ghost Rider for sure.
It's coming. It's official. There's rumors that we might see in Doctor Strange 2, we might actually get Nicolas Cage's version, just as a kind of variant or whatever, or a different timeline version of him, which would be really cool to see. Obviously, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., if you watch that, they had the other version of the other Ghost Rider, and he had the Darkhold. And then it's like kind of, he put out a tweet, I don't know if you followed it, but the actor who played him on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. kind of put out a tweet going, shit, sorry guys, I shouldn't have left the Darkhold under my bed. And it's like, how did they get it? Like, you know, how did Agatha get it? It's obviously he must have let it go at some point, because I think technically those timelines are supposed to be linked or whatever.
Now I understand that we're more than likely being set up for Kang the Conqueror being the ultimate evil for the Marvel phase. I am speculating that afterwards, either it's going to be Galactus or the Cosmic Cube.
Galactus, gotta be, right?
I would think Galactus because he's the biggest, baddest dude that comes for Earth. Or the Cosmic Cube because there is another story of Thanos after he uses the Infinity Gauntlet. I think he also uses the Cosmic Cube.
Did you guys hear about Harry Styles getting cast as Thanos' brother? This is apparently something that's rolling around right now. He's been cast apparently to play his brother. Google.
I don't remember Thanos' brother's name.
Please don't.
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of weary on it myself, but maybe maybe it'll be good. I don't know.
Is he even an actor? Has he acted in anything?
No.
Exactly. Can we fucking not?
He's a fucking pop star. Like, I don't know.
That's like saying, oh, by the way, one of the guys from I don't even know what this band actually is. I just know it because of the culture. But BTS, whatever they are, I think they're Korean. That everyone goes.
Oh yeah.
It's like saying one of them's gonna be in the next MCU. Like, don't.
Justin Bieber's gonna show up as Iron Man's brother or something.
Hey, Justin Bieber's a legit actor.
Do you guys want any Star Wars news? Have you got any interest or?
I'm always interested.
I actually have to get out of here in a couple minutes. I got to help my father-in-law with something.
DC news?
Yeah,
maybe?
I need to dip into. I got to work tomorrow.
Okay. No, that's okay.
We can stack up Star Wars maybe next week.
Yeah, I don't mind.
No way, because you owe Drunky, you owe him the Star Wars news to make him excited about it.
True, that is true. We'll leave Star Wars for next week then, for sure. I did see a bit of Hulk news. So apparently there's going to be Hulk's son showing up in the show, apparently. So Hulk's going to have a child. And that's how they bring back the Berserker. You know?
Is he actually Hulk?
Yes.
That That's kind of how they have a Berserker Hulk back, because it's actually his son, so he's gonna have to like try and control his kid, which is fucking crazy.
That would be amazing.
I'd love to. I can't wait. I hope.
I would assume it's Scar.
Yeah, I presume so. Yeah,
Hell
crazy,
yeah.
crazy dude. Yeah. So, are you guys DC fans at all? There's been some.
Not too much. Not too much.
Like very few. Like a couple things. I'd love to see if they actually did Lantern Corps, like the
That's cool.
Darkest Night timeline.
Yeah.
Or and I'm a big fan of the show Titans. I grew up watching Teen Titans, and I've always enjoyed.
I'm very
those.
happy. I'm very happy you said that, Carl, because my news is regarding season 3 of Titans. Did you see this news? Did you see the news? Oh my god!
What is
okay,
it?
I'm not even going to tell you. You just have to watch.
All right.
I got something for you. I'm not even going to fucking say it, dude. I'm so excited. And I'll talk about it afterwards, and how the first 2 seasons of Titans, guys. If you haven't seen Titans, Titans is like it's a really good show. There's some pretty weak episodes in it, if I'm being very honest, and sometimes there's like some not amazing acting in it, but the show as a whole is fucking fantastic. You see a really dark side of Dick Grayson as Robin as the show starts out. He's just left Batman to go out on his own.
Dark side of everyone. Everyone's got pretty dark in that show. I love it.
That is true. But yeah, like the show just kind of starts off really strong. You're following Dick Grayson as he's trying to set up the Titans and stuff, and you see Beast and Raven and Starfire and stuff like that. Like there's loads of really, really cool fucking DC characters in it, and the action's great. It's like kind of a rated R kind of version, like, so it's like real, like kind of graphic and real kind of, you know, like it's badass. Right. Like they're killing people and stuff, like, you know.
Hit me with Titans news. I'm ready.
Okay, so we're going to the theater, guys. Give me one sec. Grab your popcorn. Get ready for this shit, bro. This is gonna fucking blow your mind, bro. I'm not even joking.
They started filming in March, right?
I'm so excited to watch this again. Okay, I'm not gonna say a word, and we're gonna talk after. Sorry, kill the music. Sorry, Harris Heller. Shut up a second, bro. Okay, here we go.
This is a Gotham. The city breeds a special class of criminal. People die here. People like us.
Oh my fucking god.
Holy shit, I got
so
chills.
Good.
Bro, this is like, I'm not even joking. And it's quite an unpopular opinion, but Jason Todd for me is my favorite Robin. I love him so much as a character in the comic books. Like, just to give you a little brief story of Jason. So what happens is, in the comic books, Dick Grayson, the original Robin, is kind of, he grows up, he becomes Robin at a very young age, and he grows up and he kind of feels that he feels that he's kind of outgrown the whole sidekick thing. He wants to go out on his own. He doesn't really like how Batman does things. He wants to kind of do things on his own. So he kind of goes out as Robin by himself. And in the time that he's done that, he leaves Gotham, and he ends up, in the comic books, he goes to like San Francisco, and that's where they start the Titans. I can't remember where he goes in the TV show. I think it's slightly different. He kind of travels around the US and stuff, but
I think it was also, in the cartoon at least, it was also San Francisco.
Yeah.
So they used the Bay. The Bay is where the tower is.
Yes, exactly. So there's a good look at the costumes and shit. Like, you've got Superboy, you've got the Beast, you've got Crypto, the Kryptonian dog, Nightwing. So basically,
Starfire's costume looks really weird. It's not really classic.
I like it though. I think if you've Google Starfire in the comic books, and you'll realize they really can't do that on TV.
Yeah,
she's kind of like a space.
Oh yeah,
hooker,
it's way.
She's like a space. She's like a space
It's a space stripper,
bikini
like,
model.
basically. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
space stripper.
it's very out there.
Space stripper. Thank you.
Yeah. So like, I think, man, like I love this show. There's an episode in season 2 like specifically for Superboy, and it's one of the best episodes of TV I've ever fucking seen in my life. I've never seen a show get a character so right and introduce a character so well. That episode with Superboy, I think it's 206, is just one of the best episodes of fucking TV ever, bro. Ever. It's so fucking good.
The crazy thing is they haven't even showed Raven in that trailer at all, and she's like one of the like. You guys don't know who Raven is? It's if you look at Ether, he does all his emotes around Raven. Raven is one of the coolest characters in my opinion. They did her like.
Her dad is basically the devil, and like she has like a demon soul in her, but she can't control her power and stuff. She's real dark, but she's kind of like a schizophrenic. Like she has a dark side, but she can't even she can't control it. So when the darkness takes over, she just goes like killer. Like it's crazy. Like
I did her origin story so good. I didn't even know her origin story before this.
Yeah. So I don't know if you know much about the Jason Todd story, Kyle, but just to fill people in, so. Dick Grayson, the guy who becomes Nightwing, is the first Robin. So he basically takes up his own mantle. He becomes his own man. In the time that he is still technically Robin, but he becomes Nightwing, he finds out when he goes back to Gotham City that Batman has actually taken on a new Robin without him knowing. And he feels kind of betrayed because he's like, shit, I've just been replaced. So Batman ends
He's like a young, like, he's like, at first they introduce him so bad, like young, like I'm the shit. I'm fucking Robin. Why'd you give up this job, bro? You're a dumbass.
Yeah. So in the comic books, Jason Todd's intro is incredible. Like he's a homeless kid living on the streets. Batman catches him trying to steal the wheels off the Batmobile, and like just takes him in off the streets and like trains him up, and he just becomes Robin. But why I love his story is they did in like the 80s, they did a storyline called Death in the Family. It's one of the most famous Batman comic book series, and this show is going to be based on that series. So when I originally heard that we were going to be getting this guy, fucking Red Hood, who's like one of my favorite, like he's my favorite hero ever. Like I love Red Hood like so much. I love reading the Jason Todd story. Basically what happens in the comic books is Robin goes to investigate a killing in an abandoned fucking amusement park, which they're actually doing. I didn't think this was going to be happening, and basically the Joker ends up finding Robin there by himself. Batman hasn't. He basically goes there ahead of Batman. He should have waited for backup, but he doesn't. He ends up going in, and he encounters the Joker by himself, and the Joker kills him. He basically, it's one of the most.
I hope this doesn't happen in the show because you just spoiled the whole season, you jerk.
This is the storyline. This is how the Red Hood happens. Like, so you'll see.
I didn't know that.
It's in the trailer. Look, you're looking at it right now. This is.
I know.
This is him beating his head in. So basically, in the 80s, they did a thing where
Jason Todd kills the Joker, or Jason Todd gets killed.
The Joker kills Jason Todd.
If that happens, I'm gonna be sad now that I know that Jason. I liked him. I want him to keep going.
Well, what happens? Basically, the storyline in the comic books and how it happened in the comics was in the 80s they did this big event, and then in real life what they did was they actually put a vote out to the public. One of the most famous last scenes in the comic was Bruce basically picking up Jason, and he's like covered in blood and he's in bits and he's about to die. And they basically put a poll out in the 80s and they were like, do you want Jason to live or die? And people were still basically in love with Dick Grayson. No one really liked Jason Todd, and I think even to this day he's the most hated Robin, and I don't understand why. I think his story's amazing.
Yeah, the way they did him in the show is really good because I love him. I didn't know him from the comic books, but from the show that they've done him really well.
Well, he is the Red Hood, like he becomes the Red Hood. So basically, he dies and gets like put into a Lazarus pit and comes back to life. Now I don't know if they're going to do this in the show or if they're going to do the story differently, but basically, one thing you need to watch, everybody needs to watch, is the animated movie called Under the Red Hood, and that'll tell you the story of Jason Todd and how it all happens. But that movie is kind of like Flashpoint in a way. Like if you've seen the Flash movie, Flashpoint, the animated movie, like some of DC's stuff is just as good as real movies. Like they're just incredible, and this movie is just under the red hood. Download it, watch it, it's incredible. But I think I was so skeptical of Titans when I heard that they were going to be doing the Red Hood and Jason Todd, because I was like, can they bring the Joker in? And if they can't, like, they're going to have to change the story and it's going to be a load of bullshit. But it looks like they actually do have the Joker in it. So
hey dudes, I gotta get out of here. I gotta help my family with some stuff.
Yes sir, yes sir.
Get out of here.
No
It's
problem.
been a marvelous chat.
It has
I
indeed.
appreciate you.
It has
It's been
indeed.
I'm
awesome.
gonna dip out
Happy
too, guys.
Guys,
Take care,
we may
guys.
as well just end it here. Thank you so much, guys. This is
Hey, I look forward
yeah.
to next week.
We're like 2.5 hours in. Like it's a good chunk. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out. It was a great cast, and we'll see you next
Thank
week
you so
for
much.
Hey, you
episode
all have
3.
one tonight. Marvelous chat.
Later, dudes.
See you guys.
Marvelous chats.
Bye.
See ya, chaps.
Take care.
Bye bye.